Okay, let's do this. Let's send the thing. Oh my god, what? Not AI. That works. Hey everyone, how's it going? Good? Good. I just woke up, but I saw there's a dev stream, so now I'm gonna go ahead and react to this, because that's what I do. That's my shit. That's what I do. That's my job. Okay. Bitch. It's not actually up yet, I don't think. Oh god. Oh my god. It's on Twitch? Are they live? No, they're not live yet. They're not live yet. It's on YouTube too. See. What's going on? There is a dev stream soon. From Hunt Showdown. Oh, they are live now. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, soon. Cool. I'm gonna hide this chat because YouTube chat is pretty deplorable, if you can imagine. Sorry, I'm also like in the meantime trying to get all my stuff like ready and popped out in my chats and whatnot. Usually I do this during like the starting soon screen, but I didn't know when this was starting, so soon. Listen to this music. Okay, Port Sulphur Band. Sharpening their knives. They're mounting their arsenals. Quality on this? Okay, we're good. Cool. I am excited. I hope that we see either, like my biggest wish for all of this is I hope we see either a new weapon or like meaningful variant to a weapon that isn't just like, oh my god, we put a silencer on a gun that barely anyone ever uses. Or with the balancing changes that they mentioned that were coming with this update, I hope that they change something around in a meaningful way, because I feel like we haven't had any new additions or any new changes, and the meta is getting incredibly stale. I also hope for Crown and King nerfs. if I am being selfish, I think the Crown and King needs to be gutted. So again, I literally just woke up, so I need to like wake up a bit. I was like, in case you didn't see the, oh, why is it lagging? On my end, or is that it's supposed to be lagging? I don't know. Just redo this. And I don't know. Is our internet having issues? Oh no, that's not good. Watch the dev stream alone, you can watch with friends? Yeah, exactly. I hope it's not lagging for you guys on stream. I don't know what the upload download's looking like. OBS, bottom OBS looks fine. Check the Twitch version, maybe? Check the Twitch version, maybe? What? Oh. What? Oh. Okay. People in like the other chat were saying it? Okay. Not just us then, we're fine. But yeah, I spent, excuse me if I'm a little bit tired. I spent literally 8 hours in the ER the other day, yesterday, from 1 in the morning until 9 o'clock in the morning, because my legs didn't work. So everything's fine, kind of. I got crutches and it's nothing serious, even though it's incredibly debilitating. So my sleep schedule is kind of all over the place and I feel very out of it. But that's maybe a story for another time once this is I don't know how long this starting soon is going to be. I'm assuming it's going to take a second if it's lagging like this, but you have blood clots though. No, Gabby, I'm doing this alone. No, I'm doing this alone. This is an alone thing. I have to say no. Yeah, no blood clots is pretty cool. Not having like bone spurs or like fucked up bone structure is also pretty cool. Yeah, the only thing that we didn't rule out that like could be something to do with my like the other like sort of obvious thing would be like nerve damage or something like that. So I need to get a special scan. Yeah, I need to phone my doctor, which I'm gonna do after this dev stream, but Hunt Showdown takes priority over my health. But yeah, it was funny. The doctor came to me after like literally half an hour of x-raying like my entire lower body, and she was just like, yeah, your blood work and your bones are pristine. And I'm like, wow, that's like, are you kidding me? Everything might be pristine, but I can't walk. Like, are we being so for real? She's like, yeah, I'm just as confused as you are. She's like, do this, and maybe... Forgot to change the golf things. I'll do that after stream. Please don't spam them during stream, please. So yeah, that was a fun 8 hours in the ER. So she was kidding you. My God, it was ER is never fun. But you know what is fun? Hunt Showdown, and the stream's gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Never mind. That didn't turn out to be more serious. Yeah, no, me too. I mean, nerve damage could be pretty serious, to be honest. But again, I got some crutches, so it's at least like for the days that I can't walk, or I can like can't really put any pressure on my legs, I have crutches to help me out with that. So Hunt is fun. Thought we just play this game to suffer. Hunt is always fun. I still like it. That's why I'm still playing it. Oh, why did it stop? Thanks for tuning in. All right, fuck it. We're watching Call of Duty Zombies and Pokemon content now. We're watching my algorithm. What is up with this dev stream? Holy shit. Stream died? Yeah, it seems like it. Okay, here we go. What the fuck are they doing? Hey Gamer Gent, or Gent Gamer, my bad. I am excited for this new dev stream. I am hoping for, like I said, my two biggest things that I want to see, or my biggest thing I want to see, is either a new weapon or a meaningful variant. So not just like, we put an aperture sight on like the Mosin that no one's ever gonna use. Or I want them to do like meaningful balancing changes, if nothing else. As in, like, I want them to like significantly change like the weapon balance around. Because I feel like we haven't really gotten much in terms of like new weapons or sweeping changes since like the start of, honestly, since like the Murder Circus. So yeah, it's gonna be, I don't know. It's been a while since we've had like anything new that's meaningful. So I hope that we get something to shake up the meta, because I feel like I'm seeing way too many people running the same shit over and over and over again. Long ammo removed. God, please. The only thing, like, genuinely, if they just took long ammo out of the game, I think the only thing I would be sad about is like the Martini being gone. Maybe the Sparks, but I've kind of like come to not like the Sparks as much. I know that's kind of heresy because it's the Sparks, but like I really like the Martini over the Sparks, and I feel like that is not a, I feel like that's maybe an unpopular opinion. But I do think the Martini, like with a little bit of practice, is like better than the Sparks in so many ways. The extra damage that you get on the Sparks like really doesn't Really doesn't do much. In the grand scheme of things. Never gonna, yeah, I know it's never gonna leave. Of course it's never gonna leave. It's way too popular. If they removed long ammo, they'd lose like probably half their player base at least, because there's people who only run long ammo. And oh my god, you fucking took away the only viable like thing of the game. I'm leaving. Never run the Sparks, only run the Martini in the Springfield. Yeah, me too, lately. And the Maynard, occasionally. The Ironside's underrated despite visual clutter. Yeah, the Ironside's good. I believe it still has a faster fire rate than Fast Fingers and higher capacity. So it is the question of, are you capable of playing without seeing the left side of your screen while you're ADS? It honestly might be more like piratey than anything else. That's essentially like your eye patch. I want levering to get a buff to its cost again. I want to run my Terminus right off the bat, damn it. Yeah, it's a shame because like whatever they do to try and balance the Terminus in terms of levering, they kind of have to do to the Winnies. Unless they somehow find a way to like noticeably separate that, but yeah, I'm not sure. It's I miss the Terminus too, to be completely honest. It is a very risky weapon. Oh, there we go. And the audio is broken. Woo! Let's go, Crytek! You can't make this shit up. I like the set dressing they have though, with the spider webs everywhere. Okay, a new t-shirt, new merch, all right. How long do we think it's gonna take them to... How long do you think it's gonna take them to figure? Oh, wait, there we go. Is it just... No, I think it's just the trailer here. Can anyone read lips? God, I hope so. Anyways, the trailer we've already seen, basically just showing off all the cosmetics. I don't know why it feels so crunchy, but... Looks like a obviously new hunter, new crag skin. Couple of generic hunters here, aside from this guy, but the hunters that are walking with her seem to just be generic hunters there to get fucking destroyed. Like this poor guy. First shot, levering headshot, been there. And the web's a prestige 50 hunter, I think. Yeah, he's a prestige hunter, I'm pretty sure. I do like her though, and I'm curious to see if the writing on that barrel actually means anything. So yeah, this is likely going to be our 17th compound, I would guess. Andy218, thank you for the 3 months. My goodness. But why would you walk why would you go into hunt like barefoot? But especially, why would you go into this place barefoot? Literal spider's lair, like, ugh. I'd hate that. Put some damn shoes on. We got our first look at the Bile Weavers. I think that's what they're called, right? The Viper barefoot. There's a few barefoot hunters. Kane's barefoots. Ochenkov's widow.
Said the spider to the fly. It's the prettiest little parlor.
We got the Empress. And probably a new heavy knife skin, it looks like. Maybe a knife skin. Whatever it is, that knife looks cool. I'm saying want the spider lady to wrap me up in her webs. No. We got some Day of the Dead skins too. Looks pretty cool. They're just playing the trailer on loop because the audio is broken. Oh no! There we go. Okay. Holy shit. Don't call me that, Gabby. Please don't. He handed me my new crutches and said, "Hey, crutches, can you hold these?" Anyways, at least they noticed. Yep. Still crazy this is happening in the first place, though. Can you put these back? Oh, okay, sorry, you're getting the cat food. Okay, my bad. You're just leaving me with these. Okay, so maybe this is foreshadowing that they messed. they will be changing the audio. There'll be new audio bugs in the next update. There's no, it's like them actually live streaming from a room, right? It is, yeah. Well, because at the end they have their Q&A stream. They have their bit where they do Q&A, where they answer things from chat. So it is live streamed, because of that. Unless they have a really, like, I don't know, they fake the Q&A part at the end. But yes, Gabby. Hey. It's not. They take questions from the chat. Unless they're faking those questions, but audio bugs, you mean audio spiders? Oh. All of the bugs in this update will have 8 legs. Woo. I just have to wonder like how long it's gonna take for them to fix this, because this is really funny. Who's gotten the servers? Gotta go hunt them down. Yeah. Any spiders will crawl out of your actual headphones in real life. Yes. Wonder what's causing the audio issues? Who knows? Could be a multitude of things, but. Imagine it cuts back and Dennis and bits here just wrapped up in a web. That would be so funny, honestly. It's just like upside down, fucking cocooned. Predict this next update's gonna be buggy? I don't think so. Like maybe we get like maybe something will happen in terms of like a new unintended bug, depending on how much stuff they add. Oh, okay. But they've been very good at squashing bugs. Like this the entire year has literally been dedicated to like changing.
Hey stream, this is an audio test from Benza to try to fix the issues. We are sorry for the inconvenience.
No, it didn't end. They're just talking. They're just talking on the stream. We'll be right back screen. Okay. Should be soon then, I guess. They're fixing their audio. It's in the middle, baby spiders and new AI. I wonder if they'll be event only or permanently. And yeah, I'm not sure. Could be like an Ursa. The audio doubled. You guys hear that? Or am I going insane? Okay, whatever. Here it comes. We're back.
Hey chat, welcome back to the stream. Hopefully you can hear us.
Hello.
Now. We are really sorry about that. We had some audio issues.
So funny. Okay, here we go. For realsies.
Hello, nice to have me.
It's very nice to have you indeed. And we are, where are we? Oh my god, it's very, very spooky here. And of course that means we are having a developer live stream for the web of the Impress event.
Yes.
It's gonna be super awesome, and we have a lot of things to talk about. We are not going to
watch
the trailer, so we are going to be going into the presentation and talk about the update itself.
Yeah,
right
it's
away.
going to be an impressive amount of stuff we're going to go through today.
Impressive amount of stuff.
Impressive.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the event then. When is
yes.
it?
Yeah, so more normal-sized event, but a little bit longer.
In September 24th, and it will run until December the 10th. So quite a bit of time.
It's a little over. It's like two and a bit months.
This will be the final chapter of our Tarot event trilogy. So talk more about all of that.
Has this been tarot related? I guess, yeah, no, it has been. The Judge and the Fool,
brand new battle pass
Garden of the Witch.
Many amazing rewards. We are also going to be talking about that in a bit. And what are the main things?
So he said a
we're
lot,
going to talk about
a
the
lot.
new AI that some of you might have already seen. The
Some of you might have already seen. That is.
we're going to talk about the.
What do you
location
mean?
where this
The
all
entire
happens.
thing
So it's going
is
to be very
virus.
interesting, and the things you can find there, etc. So scarce weapons and more. We'll talk about in detail.
Yeah, we also have a lot of
Yeah, we know a little bit of what's
balancing
coming because they
changes,
put out a
weapon
blog
balance,
post, so we know we get 2 new
and
scarce
a lot to
weapons,
talk
and we're
about here.
getting
So it's gonna be a
these
very
tarot
exciting
cards that
stream.
do
And
stuff.
I
So
wanted to mention, just like with
among
our
other
last
things.
event, there's gonna be more activities coming during the event. So please make sure to follow us on all social media,
Okay.
subscribe on
So they're doing
YouTube,
more
follow us on
activities. This
Twitch
is probably
to
going to be
keep
like
up with
the
all the cool things
like
that will
pick a
come
side,
during
like
the event.
fool or
Nice.
judge thing.
So are we ready to talk about?
Absolutely, let's go.
I hope
All
they
right, let's talk
change
about
them up a
the
little
lore
bit,
of
to
the
be
event.
honest.
What is
Event
happening
lore,
in the
wow,
event?
that's crazy that we're still
we
trying
have
to
a
do
new
this, even though we took
infestation,
lore out of the
spreading across
game and like
bayou, but
fired all the
also across
writers.
the
But
mountains.
okay.
And what we are seeing now is an infestation from the Bellweavers. They're like little spewing swarms that kind of like infest certain locations. So we talk about in a second what those locations are. And obviously the hunters are now called for action to kind of contain that infestation, contain the spread before
Okay.
all is lost.
Yeah, and as you said, they have to stop this. But why is it happening?
Okay.
Because there's like the main antagonist of the event.
Yeah, so this is all related to the Empress. The Empress is a former noblewoman, like a lady of high society.
Yes, I'm
And
assuming
she
it's
was
the
left
lady
for
that we
dead.
saw.
She was infected by the Bellweavers, and
kept murdered
that is
in the
kind of
trailer,
like
but-
twisted and corrupted her in a way, and created the Bellweavers to begin with because of the infestation on her, etc. So they kind of spawned off her conversion
Ew.
through the darkness, the
Mother of the swarm.
twisted, weird corruption that we have. And now she reigns as the Empress. Now, what that means is that she's our antagonist this time around. She's the mother of the
Okay.
swarm, and may talk a little bit more about her.
Yeah,
Interesting,
but,
we have, like, a
you
clear-cut
mentioned also the
antagonist.
Bellweavers, but they only obey hunger.
Yeah,
not
so
even her sometimes.
she's not safe, and that means you can still play her as a hunter, because obviously you want her to suffer and experience the same way.
Yeah, so let's take a quick
feed
look
her
at
to her
Yeah,
own
that's how she looks.
children.
It's amazing. I really love that. Like,
She
like
does
the whole
look really
wrapped up
cool.
stuff there.
I don't know if
There's
I'll play her
also
very
a
much.
Pretty cool.
It's not like my
pretty
type
cool
of skin,
overview
but, like,
where you
she
see, like,
is
almost
very
like the
cool
crown
looking.
that she has there, right?
Looks
so
like a
she definitely is
new
the
conversion
Empress,
pistol skin
of the
there.
Bellweavers.
Maybe uppercut that we
Yeah,
heard in the
but,
trailer.
Of course, the story doesn't just have an antagonist, but it has some main protagonist characters.
Yeah, well, we don't know
Okay,
if it's really
fate and
true form.
prophecy.
So
Sure.
That's true.
let's start maybe like that. So people are drawn together by fate and prophecy. So they have a part to play in whatever unfolds there in the bayou in the mountains. Let's have a look at some of those guys.
One of the main characters is
So-
called the Hanged Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this guy, he's basically cheating death all the time. He's very lucky with drawing his trades, apparently. Now he's been hanged 9 times in a row already, and never
Oh my
really died from
God.
it. Always managed to get away in the end. So definitely not his first time. He's using the Forbidden Tarot in order to kind of like predict the future, get out of like situations, etc. So he's
Oh my
wielding
God.
tarot in
Good
a
reference.
very prophetic way.
Yeah, I guess through all that trauma that he suffered.
I wonder,
during all
like, does
those
this mean
things,
that they're
he
going to be
gained some
bringing
specific
all of
powers
this, like,
into the tarot.
are they bringing
But,
lore back
he's
in a
not the only
meaningful
one. We
way?
have the storms here.
Yeah, we also have the Stormseer, and
no.
so she got
They're
struck by
putting a lot of
lightning,
emphasis on
and,
this.
Since then, she's cursed with visions, and
Okay, so
obviously
this
the
is the
whole
lady that we
situation
saw
about
had,
this
like,
is something
the
she's heavily invested
scar
in.
across her face, the
whether
older
it's
lady in
about
the trailer.
depression or whether it's about like supporting, it's to be found out.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course, this whole story, as you mentioned, it's about faith and prophecy, and all
Yep.
these hunters are coming together, and a
Okay.
very exciting story will unfold that you'll of course find out during the event.
Yeah. Let's
So
see
is
how
this
it
going
all
to
comes
come from
together
like the
in mechanics.
community events, or
and,
is it going to be like the
let's look
battle
at,
pass
some
stuff?
of the main characters we mentioned. So we of course have the
I don't
Hangman
know.
here.
Yeah,
Very
a really cool
Hangman,
guy.
cool.
Then
I
we
do
have
like the Stormseer.
the
I'll
Stormseer
probably
here.
play her a little bit. She looks
one of
really
my favorite
cool.
skins. I really play her like a lot in the playtest, etc. I really
Looks
enjoy
like-
Oh, you
using
already
her.
played her?
Maybe a
Oh yeah,
marathon?
I did a lot. So
It looks
really
like a
awesome skin.
marathon.
And we have
Maybe-
some
maybe
more
like a
people that
slate.
we're not going to reveal yet what their role
And
is going
then
to
a
be.
Mako.
So you might also recognize some faces from
Interesting.
the trailer.
I don't know what weapon he's holding.
There's going to be
Some
more
lever
to
action?
unfold as the Web of the Empress spreads.
Yeah, so the story sounds very interesting, but of course, one of the core points were the Bellweavers. So
Yes.
why don't we listen to them very quickly and see
Okay.
how they look?
Listen. Okay, and see. They sure do sound disgusting. Sure do sound like spiders.
The bow weavers, then it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the audio broke for a second.
So this is our it's basically an 8-legged critter, very spider-like, but not spiders directly.
Spider-like. Okay.
And yeah, they're
Sure.
like a swarm enemy that we're having hatching from XX that you can like find around the world, and they're very overwhelming in numbers. So you
Okay, so
definitely
they
want
said
to
you
be
can find
careful
them around
around
the
how
world.
many
I
there
wonder if
are. Like
that's-
those of you who
does that mean it's
sometimes
just
feel a
in
bit
this
overwhelmed by
compound,
water
or-
levels or by leeches next to meatheads, these things are really having an impact in numbers. So what they basically do is they protect their territory, their nests, and this is like the main location that we're gonna experience
Okay.
this event. So let's maybe talk a look about that.
So they
Yeah,
are
but
just in the
let's
17th
take a
compound?
close look at the bow weavers in the video, and
Okay.
of course you will see the nests and the eggs as well, right?
No,
there.
they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just
So
around.
as you can see, like they kind of
Ew.
spawn from XX. You can find them
look at this.
not only
There's
in
like-
their main nest, but you can also find them sometimes
there's like
scattered
spider webs
the
around
world.
where they
Obviously,
are.
They're more lethal in large numbers around the main nest. But still, like as you go around like towers, other locations.
Oh, look at them. They spread
you
out
might
like a
come
flying
across them.
squirrel.
The nest itself is like the star of the show here, obviously, with like lots of them in there, and like a very different experience as you go through. I really like
They
how
are
they kind
dying,
of jump
like,
at you,
single
like, it's
compact
almost like
ammo
they wanna
shots,
hack,
though?
so
Or an
not
aftermath
creepy at
shot,
all,
so?
and I really
Especially when they swarm you like this, and then they also
Yeah.
jump at you.
These are
not
creepy.
at
Them
all.
walking on the
you don't see,
walls
like,
and
them walking
jumping
around
is
the walls, so, like the whole
terrifying.
nest gives you like a very three-dimensional fight with them, like going between levels very quickly, and that makes it very, very interesting to move around. Now, that being said, you can also try to not alert the nest, right? Like you can just go in there, and maybe you're lucky, and you'll have a chance to actually go through and get your rewards out of there, get your loot. Without
Okay.
necessarily activating them. So the way these nests
like
work
these.
is that
These
they
are
have
cool.
a proximity detection. So if you are getting too close, they burst. If you fire your weapons, if you draw attention, they burst. So your equipment gives you some ways.
I wonder
here
if
to deal
silent
with this.
weapons count for
and
that,
if you're
then?
fast, you can maybe spread the escalation of the nest this time around.
It's really awesome. So you
Doesn't
mentioned
look like
the
it, 'cause
nest
they
a
shot it
lot.
with a,
So why don't we talk about our new
what's it called?
17th
With a
compound,
silent
as we
weapon,
call
nothing
it,
popped
the
out?
bow weaver nest.
Yeah, so the Bioweaver nest is, as you mentioned, like it's a 17th compound. So our maps have 16 compounds. When we talk about the Fool's Hideout, when we talked about the Murder Circus in previous events, these are our 17th compounds. Like this, an additional space that is going to between the existing spaces and random locations, and it's going to be the same thing here for the Bioweaver nest. You have basically a massive web-covered central location, central nest, multiple layers, and you will find it at very, very, very different places. For example, than you would find like the other ones, like the Fool's Hideout, etc. Because these nests can be built up three-dimensionally and don't need like the same footprint like some of the other locations. So
Okay.
you'll definitely encounter like the nests around like on top of cliffs. You're like on top of the mountain, like near La Plata mine, for example. So there's chances for you to discover
So
this
new
in locations that you
locations
haven't
for the
seen so far.
17th compound. That's cool.
That's going to be very interesting because it kind of breaks up as you move through the world and discover them. And we're going to tell you exactly where they were all across the maps, but every map has multiple locations, and it's going to be one part of the fun to discover them for yourself.
And of course, it's
Fair.
not just bow weavers.
So are they
hiding
not
in
marked
nests,
on the
but
map,
you can
then?
find some treasure as well.
know.
So
Yes.
what are those?
So we have some of the usual sealed rewards that you can find in there, like
Okay, so sealed
crates,
rewards
restoration
coming back.
kit,
I think we
the ammo
probably knew
supply,
that, but
etc. So some of those, as you can see, like we're gonna reuse and bring back. But we also have a couple more things. So we have the Destiny style, which we're gonna talk about in a second, and we also have the new Scars weapons that you
we
can
saw
also
these
find in
in
there.
the dev
Yeah,
blog,
and
so we
why
kind of
don't
know what they are.
Take a look at the nests as well in action, and a close-up of them. Like,
Let's take a look
wow,
here.
creepy.
Yeah, I really like this. Like, so you can see, like maybe some of
This
you recognize
compound's
already what
cool.
locations the nests are built
I
around.
like
by
this
just
a
seeing them in the
lot.
trailer. I mean, you only kind of find the locations, but they look very, very differently. And sometimes, like the good stuff is on the top floor. Sometimes the good stuff is on the lower floor. There might be different entrances, etc. So
This place is
they're
probably
kinda
going to be
mazy, but
crazy easy to
intentionally so,
trap,
so we
though.
want you to
Like once you
kinda,
do
like,
clear
get
stuff
lost
out,
a
because it
little
looks
bit
like
in
there's a
there
lot of
and,
stuff you can
have
like
it a bit
put,
creepy, but I'm pretty
like
sure
you
after
can
a few
stick
rounds, you'll
things
find
in the
your way around.
ground and like have the webs
So
and
yeah, we can
stuff
already
covered
see
up,
the
like trip
Destiny dial
mines,
here.
dark
So this is,
dynamites.
basically a version of our fortune telling
Gambling
machine.
machine,
Talk a little
woo!
bit about it in a second.
And Nugabug, thank you for the 27
Amazing.
months. I
Yeah, so
appreciate
that's
it.
the bow weaver nest. And let's talk about the event itself and
Yes.
how people interact with pledge marks and how.
Yeah, I
it's
guess the
edited.
Destiny
like,
style is
it's
going to
a
be
return
like
of the pledge mark and the wages
the
system. So like our previous events,
I just remember it was
your
the 5 field
goal
machine
is
from
to
the
accumulate
Murder
event points.
Circus.
For
fortune teller
accumulating event
machine that
points in
just
the
gave
mission,
you
you also
stuff?
get every 25 event points a pledge mark on your hunter that you can use to
system.
spend it for
Okay.
sealed rewards. That can be like cash, that can be like sealed traits, other cool things. So it's down to the player and down to you ultimately then what to spend them on. And like the whole thing is going to be focused around the 17th compound. This is the main place where you will be able to spend your points. Obviously, you can still do that at supply points in other areas, but this is the central location. And we also have a pretty cool new battle pass.
It's amazing, and it has
40
so many
rewards.
cool rewards. And we actually
that
have a
more-
video
that's
to
more than the
showcase
last
some of
one.
our favorites.
Ooh,
highlighting them.
uppercut
Like the new
precision
skin
Deadeye.
for the uppercut Deadeye. We have like a dynamite stick
Oh,
animation.
I
which is
like
pretty
that
cool, but,
animation.
so some of the stuff, like you can see sometimes it's a
Really
mix between,
pretty
like a new
conversion
skin, but also like an
pistol. Oh my
animation for like the
God.
spider on the grips, really nice. And then this is my
Oh
all-time
my
favorite.
God,
this
these
is
look
basically a little
beautiful.
spidery
Oh, I
walk
love that
on the gun. I like
animation.
how he uses the
Look at that.
the two fingers for
That's
the
so
fangs.
fun.
So pretty cool stuff. Like I really enjoy using.
They
some of
cooked
these
with this.
animations
This
a
is
little alongside,
great.
but
I
obviously
love
the
all of
skins are
this.
amazing as usual as well. So
Yeah, I mean, the
good package.
whole theme, you know, the web, the Empress, it's so creepy.
Yeah.
And of course, crawling on that Vetterlies. Very
Love
fun.
that Vetterly silencer
there's
skin. That's
obviously more
so
to explore. Let me just show
pretty.
you. There's a small selection, but Battle Pass is full of awesome rewards. So
I'm
check it out.
excited for this battle pass now. These
yeah,
are
so,
great.
as Dennis
I
already
love that
mentioned,
little
we have the
crawly
Sliceworks,
spider
the
hands
scarce
animation. That's
weapons
so cute.
We're gonna talk about in a bit. But
Yeah.
what's very important that this time around stick around after the
Yes,
event.
so going into the event, obviously you guys still go through a wipe, as you've already seen. Like we've now had a week without the event running. But moving forward, what we want to ensure is that as you go and experience an event, at the end of that event, like we don't necessarily take stuff away. So you have a
Okay.
chance, for example, to seamlessly use the pledge marks that you have on a particular hunter and the events as the event ends.
Okay,
and then
that's
just use
interesting
them
to see
right
what
away in
traits
the
they're
next event
bringing
after that
then.
one without having to go through. So persistency is something we are changing, and
I also
the same
wonder-
for, like, for example, the scarce weapons we're going to talk about in a bit. These things will all carry over, and if you have a trait on a hunter, it will stay on the hunter.
Okay.
Yeah,
Does that mean that the scarce
there's
weapons
this
are
one
going to
thing
become
that you
unscarce
talked
at the
about
end
a
of the
bit during
event,
the video.
or are they
Destiny's
going to stay
Dial. You mentioned
scarce?
the wager system is back, but what is this
Yeah,
exactly?
so the Destiny Dial is basically a bit of an agnostic version of the fortune teller machine. So this is something that gives you randomized rewards. So you can use that. You can use your pledge marks and kind of like sync them into that machine, giving you something. So the fortune teller you might remember from the Murder Circus. This is basically our take on that as a more of a universal feature. So expect the Destiny Dial to show up in more locations in the future. And in general, like this is a feature we want to add to the game persistently. And now the
Okay.
first time you'll see it is woven into
We're getting
some of
gambling in the
Bowser nests.
game for
And it
real
looks
now. Woo!
really
Yeah,
freaking cool.
I like how the
Yeah.
machine like kind of does its little magic thing, tinkering thing there, like electricity going off. So it's
Yeah, and it adds some
It's all
high
fun.
risk, high reward mechanics where you don't really know what's gonna come up. And as you mentioned,
So I wonder
it
what
can
you're going to
trade,
use then
the
for it
restoration
if
kit.
it's if it's
the-
not
all
pledge
the pieces that you
marks.
can kind of find in
like
that,
when the
in-
event
in
goes
that
away, because they
location.
said they
So,
want
yeah.
to keep this like persistently in
All
the
right,
game.
let's move on.
Let's move on, and that is one very
Okay,
favorite
new
topic of
scarce
Dennis's, of
weapons.
course, the new weapons, the new scarce weapon this time around. So we have two. Which one is the first one?
Yeah. So in general, like scarce weapons is a concept that we're exploring for this time around. You might remember the Shredder from way back, which was an event exclusive.
These look a lot more
so only
tame than
during
the
event and
Shredder.
only, in the world
From what
could
we
you
saw
find
in the
it. We have
blog
something
post, they
similar
look like
now where we
slightly
have a few
modified,
more
like a
weapons,
slightly modified
that
rival and
you can,
Centennial instead
just
of a
find only through exploration.
crazy
You can
saw blade
unlock those. You
launcher.
cannot get them through normal progression. And
Yep, so you
the
can
first
only
one
find
is
them in
the
the
Homestead
world.
78, and the 78 here might
Since they
already
are
be a bit of a
scarce.
giveaway because this is a part of the trusted rival 78 family, and we're talking about a long-barreled cousin of the rival 78. So it's going to be a more powerful
Okay.
version. It's almost like a double Romero technically. It's a
Double
very
Romero.
good
This is
gun,
gonna be fun with
but
slugs.
it's rare. You need to find it in the world, and you can't just buy it and equip it normally. So there's a certain amount of exploration now added to this, as you might want to take them out as trophies, for example. So extra punch, medium range, as you would expect from a longer barrel shotgun. It does the thing
Okay.
you would think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds really fun
seems
to play
pretty
around with,
straightforward.
But there's also the other
I'm
one.
excited to play
Yeah,
that
the
with
other one is the
slugs and
Wildland.
dragons. That's
Now
probably
this one
pretty
doesn't have a
fun.
giveaway in the name, but this is based off the Centennial. So it's a modified Centennial. The one that we have in the game right now is based on a musket type version. I think it was originally used by the Canadian Mounted Police in that
Musket
configuration, if you edited it back
Centennial.
then. Now the new one is more of a beefed up version of it. So it has a bit of a longer barrel, has more ammunition underneath, like the magazine tube underneath is the full length, so holds holds a couple more rounds, and it does have a swift reload option as well. So it has all the advantages of having obviously more firepower in that case, and the fast reload also happens
It's
to
a
be
Swift
quite convenient,
variant.
I've
It's like an
noticed, in
extended
playtesting.
tube
So this
Swift.
one is going to be pretty cool as well.
Centennial.
So if you like to
Sure.
play the Centennial, get your hands on the Wildland because it's just a better Centennial.
Yeah, and of course we have to highlight that these can only be found in the next.
Yeah, increased
Yeah, so
damage
it's
too.
always
Okay.
high risk, but it
Wonder if
comes with
that's
high
over
reward.
over
And you need
125.
like a couple of
Probably.
pledge marks to kind of like unlock the boxes they're stored inside. So it's down to your choice how you use your pledge marks. Yeah, it's just a couple
I
of
wonder if
like,
that thing
small,
can take
small
bleed
images on
then.
them.
Oh, that's gonna
they're exactly what
suck.
you would expect, right? At like one is a Centennial, a bit longer. They have like a different finish on them as well. It's a different.
Okay,
type of
I'm maybe
high
not
quality
too excited for the
wood, etc.
Centennial, if
So
that's
yeah,
the
definitely
case.
go check them out inside
We'll
the
see.
Ballweaver nests if you
We'll have
dare
to see how it
enter.
plays.
Yeah, and so with this we kind of recap the Ballweaver and Ballweaver nest related things like the Destiny dial,
Yeah,
all the
core mechanics
scarce
of the
weapons.
event. Yeah.
So let's talk about some gameplay changes that are not
Okay,
directly
here we
tied
go. This
into
is the things I'm most
Starting
excited
with
for.
Some weapon balancing.
Okay,
Please
let's
be
start with the
meaningful
small pieces,
balancing.
Just get some of that out of the way.
Give us some sweeping
so
changes.
in general, what we've been doing, and it's something that's
Okay, we love
continuation
melee
from
buffs.
some
We
of
saw that in the
previous
blog already,
update, like initiatives we had
Good
there. We
change.
continued improving the hit melee detection and the maximum range of melee weapons. So we do have a different system now that allows us to detect melee strikes. So no longer is it just like a single line that kind of cuts through and checks. It's a bigger, wider box. So overall, it should be more reliable to kind of do melee attacks
good.
against moving pieces.
Melee's kind of fallen to the
Where it's
wayside
tricky
with
is
how
obviously
strong.
if it's a small enemy, you might still need
with
to
how
be
strong
more precise
quartermaster,
aiming down, etc. So
short
like the
shotguns
Ballweaver
are.
is definitely not going to be an easy takedown in melee, especially if they're very agile. But
Okay.
overall, you should see a lot of improvements about getting your hits connected in melee, like as you move through the world with your regular threats all the time.
Yeah, we will have swarms of small enemies to deal with this
Oh
time.
yeah, I heard.
But we also made some adjustments to the Mako and the
I'm
weapon
guessing
cycle.
Mako
Yes,
buffs
so
and Cyclone
two
nerf.
pieces here. So on the Mako,
Or are they just gonna
it's,
buff the Cyclone
mostly
again? I don't
about
know.
that the recoil has been reduced just a little bit, so the weapon is just easier to control. So there's a long ammo weapon, so it kicks like a mule, like all long ammo weapons do, but in comparison to the other
Okay.
ones, it's just a little bit tamer. And also, we have looked at some of the firing interactions, the sequence, etc. They feel sometimes a bit more responsive. What we noticed, there were a couple of issues in there that made the weapon feel a bit more clunky or hard to control. It had like some small delays in there. So we cleaned that one up. It should just be
Okay.
overall a bit more responsive and be on par
Sure.
with the other rifles. So it's more of a valid choice rather than something you
Yeah,
avoid.
the
because
Mako's always
maybe
kind of
you're
been like
veteran
a
player and you know exactly
personal
about its
preference. It
drawbacks
really
and-
doesn't
and
have
therefore the weapon
much
isn't
over
for
the
you.
other long ammo
And
rifles.
on the Cyclone, we walked back
That's
some
good.
of the improvements we did to making the reloads faster, so they're slower again.
Okay,
We looked at the
sure. I'll
balance
take
and the
some
weapon is still
Cyclone
very, very
nerfs.
powerful, so at least we want to make sure that like if you have to go through the reload, it matters more and other people have a chance to kind of use that point in time to actually like maybe push you, etc. So there's a bit of a
Yeah,
drawback.
okay,
It still
that's
is a very
fair. You have
powerful
to be, you
weapon,
can't
and,
spam it as much.
as long
You
as
have
you
to
keep
be
that one round
considerate.
chambered and then reload, is always going to be faster than reloading from empty.
Well, that sounds amazing. But other than these, we also have some.
Yeah, the Cyclone's a bit of a
quality
monster since the
lifelike
last
changes.
update.
Oh, yeah.
So
Let's talk about the brand new auto select setting.
So auto select is something
Oh.
that as we were experimenting
Also,
and,
is
and
that all
playing
we get for
around with,
weapon
the
balancing?
improvements to traps in the last
that's
update,
it.
like being able to store them back into your inventory. One of the things we noticed, like it was kind of inconvenient that they were always just like added in the back, but you wouldn't really have them in your hands. So the moment, for example, you just wanted to just like relocate the trap, like move it around a little bit, etc., you just had to select it in your inventory again, etc. Not the end of the world, but it felt a bit inconvenient. So that got us thinking about a general improvement, which is an auto select feature. Now this is on by default at the moment now, and it will basically mean that whatever you are picking up, like a fire bottle, or maybe retrieving your spear, you put it in the player's hands again right away, and then you store
Okay,
from there.
sure.
So you do have some control about that. We're going to see that in a second with the options menu entry. But the important piece is there's also a way to disable the whole thing. So if you don't like that, if it's not for you, you can totally disable that in the options. You can even be very granular here,
Sure.
disabling it between
I'll probably
weapons,
turn
tools,
this
and
off,
consumables.
but good
And,
change.
this gives you all the flexibility.
people
Just
who
by
want
default,
that.
it's on, and actually it feels pretty nice. Like picking something up, it adds a little bit more physical value to whatever you're interacting with. As you kind of lift it up from the ground, you pick it up, you have it in your hands. And again, like also for the traps, it helps you to kind of like pick it up and then you have it in your hands, maybe to place it again right
Be
away. So
disabled immediately.
depending what
if you
prefer,
like it,
you can
I
use
don't
that
see why
feature.
you,
I think it's a nice quality of life
I don't
change.
know. I'm
and you
probably
can
going to
totally
disable
customize
most
it
of
for your
it,
needs.
but Weapon, I can see it for weapons being
but
cool.
yeah, we have to highlight that it's also not on by default. You already mentioned that. I
Oh,
mean, it is
okay.
on by default.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, you have the legacy option to turn it off
Yeah.
if you don't like the
Alright.
Super important. Like
Sure.
you don't need to use it, but it's
Good
there by
addition
default. So
for
if it
those
feels
who
weird,
want it.
check out the options and you can disable it there.
And yeah, it's not working on everything. So for example, it's not selected when you're looting toolboxes or from hunters
Yeah.
or beetles.
Whenever you pick up a physical piece in the world, is basically the rule of thumb here.
Yeah,
So like
okay.
the beetle spawns,
Sure.
obviously, they are like you're gonna grab it out of there.
Okay,
you
but
don't
are we
leave
getting
something
more weapon
behind, or the same with the
balancing?
toolboxes, you get something like yeah, exactly like that.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really cool quality of life feature,
Like-
but we do have more of those.
Okay, trait change. I
with
don't
some
think we're gonna get
trait
any more weapon
changes that are-
balancing.
Yeah, quality
Oh.
of life is, I think, a good headline for many of the changes we're talking about today. Like
Trait
so
changes,
just
though, could be an
convenience
interesting.
and making things a
I'm
bit
hoping
easier.
for some quartermaster changes.
So the first one we're going to talk about in this case is Blade Seer, and you might already be thinking, "What I know what this is about," and you might be totally right. So Blade Seer is becoming a
Blademancer?
default ability. However, we're not going to get rid of Blade Seer. Talk about that in a second.
Okay.
In a nutshell,
What does it
means
do
is
then?
that you can now retrieve your,
What does it do?
your thrown projectiles, your bow, arrows, your bolts, etc. Within 25 meters, you will see them just going into dark side, which normally would have been what Blade Seer would have given you. But instead, what Blade Seer does now is it extends the range up to 75 meters. So, for example, if you play more like the long range, like bow and crossbow bolts, etc., this might still be useful for you, but it's up to you. You, at least
Sure.
by default now, are not required
So
to
we
have this
just
trait
by
anymore. You
default
can get
have
the
Blade
benefit in
Seer
close
now.
range.
Interesting.
And it feels very convenient, just like picking up throwing axes, knives, etc. It feels appropriate for the interference that normally retrieving ammunition has for you.
So you mentioned throwing knives. Let's talk about throwing other things. So we did make some changes to Assailant as well.
Yes.
Okay.
For the veterans among you, you might remember that we've
I'm gonna
kind
be
of moved
honest. I
stuff
think
into
this makes
Assailant. We
Blade
used to have
Seer
a trait
like
called
even
Tomahawk,
more useless.
and we merged that one with Assailant at one point as we generally tried to reduce the amount of traits we had. And now we're doing this the other way around because we're actually removing it again from Assailant. However, not into a new trait or to another trait. We're actually giving you that as a default feature as well. So you will now be able to just
What
pick
about
up
the
any axe,
animations
hammer,
for like throwing axes
whatever you
and throwing
find in
knives,
the world,
though?
and be able to throw that.
About that part?
What we hope from that is that first off, you can finally do the achievement.
Yeah. Oh my god, I still don't have that achievement, so it's time.
But also, you might not rely as much anymore on throwable tools as a requirement, because if you look around, you might find a hammer to maybe get that hive off that roof. But
what about the animations and the
like,
extra damage?
throw something against like some dock handle, etc. It just gives you
like-
more options here to kind of like.
I
get
really
ranged,
like the underhanded
options, silent
swing
options
on-
into your normal path as you walk around the world.
on like the
So,
throwing
again,
axes.
it's there as an option. It's a small thing. However, at the same time, we also did some changes to the damage and ensured that when you throw these weapons, they actually do adequate damage and kill AI properly, etc., as you would expect. I mean, as you know, like even a throwing axe tool, like that one kills an armored in one good placed hit to the chest. So it's of course important that then the big cousin, the World Hammer, will have the same option as well, and it's reliable to kill stuff.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. But we also have one more trait that we changed.
Yes.
Witness.
Okay, I guess
So,
we'll have to
witness and also
see.
something that
That's,
people-
I'm
everybody goes,
nervous
"I don't
about
know
that
what they're
one, to be
talking about,"
honest.
and
That
you're
might
right again.
turn me off of throwing
this is
axes
about
forever.
removing the healing ability from Witness, which we
Okay.
felt like is kind of redundant. Initially we put that in as something to beef up Witness, as it was an event trait. Since it
No
has
more
just become part
healing.
of regular rotation,
It's
it felt
fine, I
kind of like
guess.
overlapping a bit too much with, for example, like a ghoul and other health-giving traits.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it still
that's
is all
fair.
about finding corpses, and I think that excels at that. We make it a
Reducing
bit
the
cheaper
cost
from
if you're
5 to 4
removing
points,
something, fair
but the
enough, even if it
healing
was a
option
pretty
goes
niche
away,
thing.
and players should now be able to focus on what this trait does primarily, which is like finding and confirming, for example, that players will wipe the team, or maybe even taking on the scent of a team moving through the world as you see the leftover pieces from the guys they killed. So yeah, focus.
That's awesome.
Sure.
I think these are
Yeah,
changes will
like,
be
I know
well
some people
combined
who
with
definitely did
community
use
to
the healing
streamline
quite a
some things.
bit.
But let's
but-
talk about some loot changes that we have added in
Oh,
this
no
update.
quartermaster changes.
So in this case, I think this is probably like
Please.
the biggest one of this one at the moment. Custom ammo spawn changes. What this means is that
Okay.
the weapons that you find in the world now have a chance to actually spawn directly with some custom ammo linked to it. Not always. and
Okay,
kinda
that's
random
kinda
which ones,
cool.
you'll find, but there could be a good chance that you find a sniper weapon and then that already has high velocity or even Spitzer ammunition attached to it.
Oh,
Could be.
God.
Or you find something with
Finding a
Milgram
Spitzer
ammunition. So
sniper just in the
like, maybe if
world?
you see those weapons lying around in the world, pay closer attention now, because they might contain some really cool ammunition types.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
some of them
that's
even
fine. That might
scars,
encourage
you know?
people to pick
And
up new
therefore you have
weapons
a
and try
chance
them.
to like kind of get your hands on instances of those.
Yeah, and it adds some decision making in the moment. Like if you see
Exactly.
some poison ammo, you may take it to a
Yeah.
boss that is weak to poison. So that would make it very nice.
Yes.
But we also rebalance some of the consumable looting.
So
Okay.
maybe as a preface to that,
Maybe
so what
putting
we
flash
started
bombs
with
back in
as we rolled out
rotation?
things like the toolbox years in the past,
Retro
we
Shredder World's
usually were
fun?
very cautious
Oh, yeah,
about
that might
giving
be
the
a
player
thing.
options to get more defensive tools, because back then, like,
I
there
doubt
was a
that would be
problem, like, people
very
were kinda
common,
entrenching
but
in the layers a bit too much, and then if they had chance to get like even more instances of concertina bombs, etc. We deemed it back then to be a problem for the game flow and adding to stagnation. We've, I think, for some time now moved on from that. So, like, we've introduced the saddlebags. We've also had some of these consumables now spawn in the world on their own. Like, I think all of you remember being up in the tower and seeing a concertina bomb there. As such, like, that restriction no longer made any sense, and we instead went in and said, like, you know what, let's just reshuffle and expand these pools a little bit, so you can find some things in the tool and in general, like saddlebags and other mechanics that you maybe not have come across before, maybe including even like a recovery shot.
That sounds great. And there's one more thing that we're experimenting with currently in this update is some changes to the beetle spawn.
Yeah, so this is something that we're kind of reacting a
Oh.
little bit to community feedback on this, but we're not yet ourselves 100% sure if this is something we want to keep like
Okay.
that moving forward. And the main point here is that
This one
even though
feels
beetles
weird,
still
to
have
be
a very
honest.
low usage across the board, we want to ensure that like the ones you find in the world are the ones that allow you like to, for example, help your teammates. Like
This
not
feels
be
like a
set on
very
fire anymore,
artificial way
rather
to
than being
increase the pick
offensive
rate of
ones all the
choke
time. So if you want to
beetles.
bring a stalker and a fire beetle, you have to equip it at the beginning of the rounds, because we will now only be able to
I
find
do agree
choke
that like
beetles
stalker beetles
from
and
the
fire
beetle
beetles
spawns,
are
the
like
little
much
beetle
stronger
nests,
than the choke
in the
beetle,
world.
but
Still a good place to run to whenever your teammate is burning and you might get to him, or just have him and take him along the way. However, the offensive beetles are now restricted to you bring them into the match. Again, we
Yeah.
might walk this back in the
Okay.
next
No,
update. We're trying
I
that
can
out
understand
now.
that.
Definitely give us
That's
your feedback
fine.
on this, whether you prefer that.
Yeah,
or if you
finding
would
fire
like to have the
beetles and
old flexibility
instantly burning
back.
a bar off of
So,
someone was
we
kind of
see it as an
annoying.
experiment.
Yeah, so we covered a lot of things you can find in the world that you can loot. But so we have a brand new addition to the game, the powder
Okay.
keg.
Oh
So we
yeah,
did see this in the
now
trailer.
it's gonna get explosive. So the powder keg is a new world item that we're adding to the world. You can find that scattered throughout our compound,
boy.
etc., like you would lanterns and other pieces.
Deployable
And it
red
is a deployable
barrel.
item,
Okay.
only found in the mission, so you can't bring powder kegs from the outside. Why would you? But inside, you might have already walked around like, oh, how awesome would it be if I could just like the big red barrel and put it in my pocket. Obviously,
Okay,
that never was
put it-
possible. However, now you have the smaller cousin, the powder keg, and you can actually move that around and place it around, use it for
Oh,
traps.
this is
you
gonna
could
be-
use
this
it
is gonna be
kinda
interesting.
Like, spike up maybe a room that you want
I
to
like
throw a firebomb
this.
in later.
Okay, this is
So
cool.
it's gonna give
Smaller
you more
red barrel,
tactical
but
options and just,
still a
you know,
red barrel.
Just enriches the sandbox in general. So it is in all effect like a red
Oh, they
barrel,
are
but it has
tiny.
a smaller
Okay.
effect. So for like an alert trip combination, it's still enough, because
That-
the
that's really
radius
cool.
is
I
still
like that.
enough,
That will
to
make like
kill a
alert
player
trip
nearby, as
mines.
you'll see in the video
We
there.
will see alert trip
However,
mines
it doesn't
go
have the
up
same
like
range and the same
crazy.
propagation outside. So
What
it
is
wears
this
off
trap
much faster in terms
placement?
of damage. But you can do some really interesting things with alert trip mines, of course, and gives you all the
No,
flexibility.
I like
Now,
this. This is
the important
cool.
piece here
This
is
is
that
pretty
as you
neat.
see them in the world, like they react to damage. So just
Yeah, it
you
does
just, like,
kinda get
shooting
rid of
while
dark
they
dynamite
blowing
usage,
things up
that's
left and right,
true.
you might
It
create chain
might,
reactions much
but-
easier now, where maybe like there was one of those powder kegs also in range and also blows up, and then disaster strikes.
Systematically? Oh.
Yeah, so you mentioned
Okay.
it's like the physicality of it in the world, and
Yeah,
can
yeah.
actually roll around even on the floor.
Yeah, so if I carry it around and I just drop it, it has like the lanterns on has physics attached to it. So if it rolls around, well, there is one thing that could happen. Like the moment it rolls into
Oh.
fire, it blows up systemically. So
Okay,
you can also
that's
try
cool.
around,
I like
obviously, with
that.
these type of things. But for the most part, you deploy it, and then if it takes damage, it will just do the barrel thing as you would expect. Now that power, like that
Yeah, I
plays
think
into another
comboing them
piece
with
here,
dark
which is the
dynamite will probably
lanterns.
be the most
So for the
effective way to
lanterns
use
as well,
them.
we have done the same damage receiver. So if a lantern is just in the world, for example, in the little red boxes, or just standing on the table somewhere, like the ones that you can pick up, and you were to hit it with a incendiary damage, it would react exactly like the static lanterns does. So now you can actually blow up lanterns. If they're
Okay.
since they're turned off, as if you don't have in your hands, right? Like, so they follow the same rules as a deactivated static lantern. So if you just do damage to them, nothing really happens in this case. We don't have a destruction effect for them. However, the moment they receive fire damage, like incendiary ammunition, or you throw another lantern at them or whatever, that's when they react, and then they kind of burst in flames. So again,
Okay,
you can also
that's
use them
kinda
for chain
interesting.
reactions, and maybe that's also interesting to play around with setting up traps with a powder keg and a lantern next to it, and then just
Yeah, you
shooting
could
the
set up
lantern
like
with
some
incendiary
fire
munitions.
traps
Yeah,
with alert
honestly, I
trip
cannot
lines
wait
and
to see
lanterns
the
now.
chaos
That's
that Creative
cool.
always come up with very creatively. with the
Okay,
new
no, I
tools
like
they
this.
have,
This is a good
there.
change.
But let's talk about another cool topic. That we are making some
NPC.
bigger
Oh, I guess
changes
this is
to,
going to be for the
NPCs
bots. They
and,
did say there
AI.
were bot changes coming.
NPCs, I mean, of course, we talked about the Weavers. I mean, that's really like the star here when it comes to any NPC and AI changes for this update. But we're doing some housekeeping alongside. So, for example, we have the grunts that we have been reworking a little bit alongside. It sounds maybe a bit bigger than it is, but this is a very important step for us. It kind of happens under the hood, where the rework of the grunts means we have more flexibility moving forward to do changes, to build new stuff potentially based on them. And it gives us just like a couple of little side effects that you will actually perceive. For example, the improved spawning. So in the past, AI would pop in very aggressively right in front of you sometimes, right, depending on the server and distance and where they would then designate it to spawn. Now we have an improvement there where the grunts, if they spawn in, they actually spawn in a prone position, and then they actually stand up and walk around from there. So you'll see a much more natural way of introducing these enemies and less popping with the grunts. So
I guess we'll see less of instances where grunts pop in
we
and
also
then
had
just
some
like
improvements to
stand up for a second and flop on the ground because they're supposed to be laying down.
This is probably mostly on the hood. The most player-facing, most visible change here is that they actually move slower in water now, which they never really were impacted by. So you as a player were bogged down by like the water.
Does that mean it works for like all AI then?
Now they're affected by the same rules, which means you can actually lose
grunts?
some of those as you walk through water and then turn around and shoot them as they still try to catch up. So you do have more options there. Again, it's mostly under the premise of like housekeeping,
or not. Yeah,
but
maybe.
it sets us up for some really
interesting.
cool things also in the future.
Yeah, and alongside the grunts, the hunter bots also seeing some improvements. It's very important to mention that
are we gonna have to go back and do another bot video?
Until rank 11, so it will only affect those, but they have a lot of improvements.
So the
bots, I think we have to go back and do some more bot watching then.
We call it like the first time user experience, the onboarding, like getting a new player, understanding the game, and I think they've been doing a very good job for that purpose, but it's also what we designed them for. They're not meant to be.
The bots are pretty stupid, let's be real.
Experience or a veteran player. However, there were still even then some shortcomings where sometimes they would just not even survive fighting against some of the AIs on the way. So even a new player might sometimes just not really come across them that often because they might have just died shortly before reaching the players. And doing some improvements around how their combat behavior works exactly, etc., has been some of the pieces. So don't expect them to use major tactics now, but they should at least be able to do the job, the role that they're built for, which is like give players a good time when they start a game, but also introduce them to the concept that maybe some enemies are actually shooting back.
And you did mention that it's kind of a housekeeping update as well. So we did make some tuning to other areas as well, like the armor and some of the bosses as well.
Exactly.
We'll see it in the patch notes,
brutes, for example.
Yeah.
So you can expect some smaller changes.
Yeah, just
Water Devil fix. Yeah, Water Devil fix is kind of needed. They're really annoying right now.
Here today for our stream, but like you will be able to just follow up on all of those in the patch notes and kind of see what exactly changed. But like these are the highlights so far from what we talked about.
Sure. I am excited to go see how much better the bots are then.
Regarding our user
UI changes.
Yes, seeing some awesome improvements.
There's some
we
really
still haven't
good
seen
stuff
anything
coming.
about the tarot cards. I'm just realizing. So.
But let's first look at the lobby improvements.
This is how you get Benz excited. So yeah, the lobby improvements. So this is something we've hinted at early in the year already, and it's a major step forward for our lobby, because what we're doing now, we are unifying the different lobby rooms that we've had previously into a centralized lobby for our game modes. Now, of course, you might only be able to select a game mode like Soul Survivor if you don't have any friends in the lobby, because it's only available for solo players. But you can navigate seamlessly through all of these. So you can, for example, take a round with your friends on the shooting range. You don't need to do a separate invite anymore. All that stuff goes away.
That's
and you
nice.
can kind
I
of
like
easily
that.
transition between different
trying to go to the
lobbies that
shooting
we had in the
range
past, as it's all
and having to
in one
reinvite
place.
everyone was very
streamlined
annoying.
navigation has been the key here for us, and overall, like the whole thing feels so much nicer and. Going to see that in a moment, but like the streamlined navigation really, I think, comes to play quite a lot here. So as
I like
we
this background.
have a look here, we see the top navigation has changed. We now have the play button, and the play button
it shows
is
a
the
bounty
lobby.
bonus too
you
for how much you're getting.
You can click on your game mode on the left side, and then you can select it there, or you can just use the little
No, I
arrows
like
from
this.
the lobby.
This is a good change.
Through them. So very easy for you to kind of like go through the different modes.
That's a very good change.
All the configuration you need for each mode you will find directly there in that location. So whether you play against like duos, trios, etc.
Yeah, this is
so quite a lot
really,
of
really
cool stuff
nice.
there. And we've also used that, as you might see in the top, there's a career tab now. We removed the home tab, which used to have all of the stuff together.
Yeah,
now we have
okay.
the lobby under play, and we have career, which basically bundles all of the progression screens that we had before, about to kind of see like how your bloodline progression is, your prestiges, and all the other things that you have in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
no, I really
So,
like that.
as you
That's
mentioned,
a
there's
very
new
good
Carrier
change.
tab added on the top, but we have some other changes made to the gear screen.
To
where
green
You
screen.
can see your traits.
The green screen.
gears. It's not a green screen, by the way. It's
I
actually
think a green screen does.
monsters and lab in there.
Yeah, this is knock on wood, man, here.
Yeah.
All right, so the gear screen improvements are a pretty cool quality of life change as well, because you now be able to see the traits in the equipment screen for the gear as well. So what that means is you don't need to memorize, oh, did I have like fanning, levering? Oh, it's all there as a quick preview on the left side where all your equipment are, and you can kind of match it up. You can even modify them directly in the same screen, so you don't need to jump out and go to the trait menu necessarily. It's all unified. It's much nicer to use.
Okay,
so
I can't really visualize what they're talking about, to be honest. I hope they
show us here. Shortcut where players can now clear all
so yeah, it just shows that you don't have to actually select
whether
the
you go
hunter,
to
it
the,
looks
to the
like.
trade screen first,
Oh, I see what they mean here.
It's basically all
Okay.
in one place, and like adjusts from there.
That's
and, yeah,
nice.
just-
I like
it feels
that. This
so
is a
much
good
nicer to play
one.
with it. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it
No,
looks so
I
much
like this.
cleaner and
This is
easier
a
to
really
understand
good.
as well, I
This
think.
is a really good
good stuff.
change.
Really nice. Yeah, and you know, I was very, very hyped.
Streamlined.
earlier,
Yeah.
But there was a
Wonderful.
Which of these items was it then, Vince? What's another one?
Yeah, I think there may be another slide. I think. And wait for it. It was actually one of the biggest player requests for a long time.
Oh,
as you can
okay,
see it on
sure.
screen. Now you are
What did they
able
just
to
show at the
invite
bottom?
random card into
Oh my
all
God,
of them.
Gabby
Yeah,
is
so how
happy.
this plays out is that if you already have a friend invited, you now have the option to just like say like,
No,
hey,
that's
we would
good.
like
That's
to play
something
as a
people have been
trio. And
asking
then
for
the
a
game
super
looks
long
for solo
time.
players looking for a team, a trio team at the moment, and pairs you up. So for a solo looking for a team, that means
Yeah,
you
that's-
will either
that's really
find
nice.
random trios as before, or you might be
Wonder how this will affect
joining
him in our
a duo
handicap?
looking
Yeah, that's a
for
good
random
question.
third.
I'm not sure.
So in general, it just increases the options and makes it much nicer for people to kind of like find a third teammate. Maybe if only one friend is online, you can still play those trio games in full power, and maybe even make some new friends. So definitely something you guys
that's
have
a
been
really,
requesting for a very long
really,
time.
that's
We
a
talked
really
about
good
the thing
addition.
2 years ago almost, so it's finally in the game. So really good stuff.
Yeah, and let's take a quick look at it as well. How it looks.
I won't ever
and how you
personally
can,
use this, but
find this setting in the menu.
that's great. That's really, really nice.
So yeah, like you basically in this case you have a duo here. You're in front is your best friend.
I like
and
this.
if you now
I have
search
friends everywhere at Legendary
like a
Hunter.
player on
I
the
like
right
their
side,
names.
Actually on the left side you see. Actually, can I wait for you? Closest. On the left side you see like if you now select the trio, and then it match makes and tries to find you a random third player that is also looking
So
for
does
a
this
trio
mean
at
you
the
can't?
moment.
I'm assuming you can still do
yeah.
duos versus
Yeah, I'm so
trios,
happy to
but
have this because I know that this question always came up during streams.
Hunt
on social
profile
media, so we are really happy to
1978.
finally have that.
Yeah. So definitely tell us what you think, and also like tell us your stories about your new
oh yeah,
friends
my
that way.
team versus
Yeah, it's a
opposing
great
team. So
way
yeah,
to
you
do
can't
that.
still select duos versus trios and whatnot.
Yes, there's another big point we want to touch on. Which
Okay,
is about the rarities.
sure. Yeah, the rarity
so we
system
heard
felt
you
very
guys,
pointless.
You didn't want like having so many
Good
different colors in
change.
the rarities, so we're walking back that system, or let's say the most of that system. So the aim is here obviously to remove some of the visual noise, like the different outlines and frames and all that stuff that kind of like these sometimes not really easy to read rarities. Like the idea from our side was to give you a very good overview about like how to rate and how to place a certain skin, also like use that consistently,
Yeah,
for example,
but no one.
from a pricing perspective.
Dennis, I'm sorry, but no one cared
it
about
wasn't
that.
really fully there. We never really had the consistency in that we were hoping for. So in this case, we kind of made the decision to walk that back. And what we have now is two things remaining.
Okay.
So everything is either a legendary, which is the gross majority of all of the cosmetic pieces we have, or it's mythic. And mythic,
Assuming
as you
mythic's
know,
probably battle pass
denotes
only?
a piece that doesn't come back afterwards.
Okay.
It's an event exclusive.
Fair enough.
So it's important to keep that distinction.
Having that distinction is good.
But uncommon, common, rare, all of those tags
Okay.
have been removed.
Good-
and the whole
good
menu obviously
changes.
looks a bit cleaner and much nicer again when it comes to
Yeah,
understanding.
they'll get
what
rid
is
of a
legendary,
lot of the
what's not.
visual clutter from
So,
the Hunter
so
tab.
rarity is obviously something we did at the same time.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the mythics still remain, and that just denotes the skins that will never come
Exactly,
back to the game.
yeah.
But now the legendaries are back as you were used to them before, basically.
Okay.
All right, Dennis. I think we went through a lot
No,
of things, but is
I
there?
don't think that was
anything we forgot? I don't
everything.
know.
I think we should maybe consult the tarot if there's anything. I forgot.
Oh, okay. Do we have any? Oh,
They
wait,
they
there's one on the
set they
screen.
were setting
yeah.
that up
Yeah,
so
we
hard.
have like a few tarot cards, and
Oh,
maybe it's
look
actually
at the
not just a
art
few,
on
maybe
these.
Oh my
It's
God, that's
so
quite
pretty.
some, and maybe even you could argue maybe it's even a lot of them.
Look at those.
So yeah, let's maybe talk about what the tarot card system is all about.
Oh my
Yeah, but
God,
first
they're
of all, they
so pretty. I hope
amazing.
these are
I love
merch.
them. I love them. So
I
this,
hope
this
these
is
are
basically
merch.
your favorite trade art style, but now in color.
It is in
so
color.
Really amazing work
Ah,
as
it's
usual.
so
and
pretty.
like these cards, we look at them individually in a second, a bit bigger on screen as well. But
But
like,
yeah, as you mentioned, so
Oh, those are
What are the
so
tarot cards?
good.
yeah, so the tarot cards are a
It depicts
single-use
suffering
consumable.
so well. Wow.
That means they apply all the rules for like the same thing as a dynamite bundle or like a vitality shot or whatever you bring. So you want to
Okay.
make a choice
So
there whether
single-use
you want to bring them
consumables.
into a mission or also if you find them in the worlds, like if you have the space to actually take them and use
12
them.
new cards. We saw, I think,
we
5
have a
in
total
the dev
of
log.
12 of these cards. Each of them have their own unique gameplay effects. The idea is that while they give you new ways to play, right, new gameplay options, they're not overpowered. They fit in very nicely and just give you tactical
Okay.
options without being like oppressively powerful. The idea is not
We'll
that tarot
see
cards
how
should dominate
well
the
that
game, but
holds
they
up,
kind of
but
change some of the nuances.
good to know they're
in a
not
very nice
purposely
way.
made overpowered.
And we're gonna look a little bit in a moment about what they do. But in general, where do you find them? So you can find them in the world. We'll talk about in a second what that means. However, you can also get them via Dark Tribute. So this is very interesting because by just
I'm
playing
assuming
over
you
an
can't
evening
buy them
and
then?
several rounds, like every step in Dark Tribute gives
I
you
kinda-
a
I
card, and
kinda
then the first
like,
step gives you
but-
2 cards. So you will have an ample opportunity, even if you're unlucky during the match to find them, to still get your hands on a number of those. They're
Okay,
kinda
so yeah, it
rare,
does
they're
seem
kinda
like you have
precious,
to find
they're
them, which I
not
like.
spammable in a way, unless you
That means
really
if one of
take a
them's
long time to
meta,
collect a
it
lot of
can't
them,
just
then
be
you can obviously use
auto-equipped on
match
every
them
single
together.
loadout. You have to find them to work for them.
They give you like a really like a choice of, is it now the right moment to bring it? And I think that makes them very, very interesting. When we talk about where to find them in the world, we have 3 inside the Bileweaver nest. So it's
Okay,
another
that's
reason
a
to go
heavy
into this awesome,
incentivization
nice
of the
place
Bileweaver
full of,
nest,
like horrible
among other
critters.
things.
So enjoy. And also you can find them randomly outside, however, also still thematically linked to the Bileweavers. So we have these smaller locations outside. We talked about this earlier when we discussed the Bileweaver nest. And what you can do there is, if you encounter one of those XX around maybe a tower or some other built-up small area, look around. There might be a tarot card somewhere attached to a wall nearby.
So
They're kind of
it's
stuck in the wall with a
mainly
little
tied
feather
to Bileweavers, it sounds
give
like.
give you like another chance to get them. They're kind of random outside, but there are 3 of them are guaranteed inside the Bileweaver nest. So first come, first serve. Make sure that you are not the last one to go there, because Bileweavers, I think we didn't mention it before. Bileweaver nests respawn. So even if you take a moment, like to be the last one
Yeah, that'll
there,
be a
if
really
other
nice
people
like
have gone away from the
anti-camping mechanic
from
then. I like
the
that.
nest, and like with other compounds, we can at one point remove the AI, and then only when you get back we can re-add it again. In this case, if that happens, the Bileweaver, like the XX, the small little cocoons, they will actually repopulate. So they're little.
Okay,
little,
I like the
little buggers.
Bileweavers.
They
These
kind
seem
of rebuild
cool.
their nests very quickly. So you will always come across these Bileweavers there. It's an infestation after all. So it's no
Yeah, I
guarantee that
guess.
you have an easy time just because you wait for someone else to do the work for you before.
very, very
suppose.
scary, as always, in Hunt. But we have to talk about Bounty Clash as well, where people can still find them.
Yeah, so in Bounty Clash as well, like in the central location where we have like the restoration kit, some of the other pieces, you also find like cards
Sure.
there. So
I don't play Bounty
another
Clash, so
reason
this
to be
doesn't
the
really
first
mean much
one
to
in the
me,
center
but-
of a Bounty Clash game.
That's great.
Okay,
And,
but you
of
can
course,
find them in
talked
Bounty
about
Clash. Good to
finding them
know.
in the world. So how about we talk about the cards themselves?
Yes.
Starting with the
Oh, what a segue. All right, let's start easy with some of the more basic cards. So the world is
Okay.
basically, it is your portable
This is the Master Clue
Master
one,
Clue.
right? Yes, okay.
So it does exactly what the Master Clue does, which means it reveals all boss targets.
Alright,
Just
I like
basically
that.
takes all the clues for you, and then you just know exactly where the one or the 2 targets are. It's a very standard card, very basic card. Obviously interesting if you have it on you
Still
from the last
useful.
round, for
I
example,
like
because you can
that.
play it right at the beginning of a match, can burn card in your hand, and you know.
Yeah, that'd be
and
really
you're set
nice
on
if
your
you have
way
a
directly, know
like
where
a
to
very
go. So very
trap-heavy
useful, for example,
strategy
for
or
that
something
solo
like
who
that
really
that
has to go
requires
for
you
this,
to like
for this mission to kind
heavily
of
incentivizes
trap
you to
the
play at the boss
hell out
layer.
of the Bileweaver
That'll be
nest,
really nice. I like that a
and,
lot.
maybe have a good chance of being the first one around, know where the bosses are, from which direction
Yeah.
the enemies might approach
Cool.
the nest, because you know where the bosses are. They might go there after the banish. that type of stuff, right? Like, so it gives you the tactical depth. You don't have to go to the center anymore, where there would also be a master clue inside the nest, but this one is the portable version and a nice starting card. Nothing too fancy, but also still quite meaningful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
so
useful.
let's talk about one of the other more basic
I think Bensei's
parts,
microphone
the
died.
moon.
The moon. So
The
the moon
moon.
is
Ooh, it's so
interesting
pretty.
because it gives you 2 seconds of dark side boost.
Oh, okay.
So again, also rather straightforward.
Yeah,
if you
that's
have a chance
nice.
to get the moon. And
Wonder
again,
if that'll
all
show up
these
as a
cards are
burn
kind
mark
of
on the map
rare and
then.
precious, right? It's not going to be have like 5 of those
you're
running
gaining
around.
dark
Everybody
sight.
has always dark side boost. That's not the case. So it comes down to you having the card and then playing at the right time. When I say the right time, the important consideration here is that the moon, obviously, when you get dark side boost, leaves the little scorch mark on the map as well. So if you, for example, were to play this card right at the beginning of a round, well,
Everyone can see where you
congratulations, you've just
spawned.
given away your spawn location.
That's
right?
really
so
funny.
it comes down to finding the right moment to sometimes
Okay,
use
I
these
like that they
cards. Some
do
of them
have
drawbacks,
downsides,
etc. In this
though.
case, the drawback is that, well, you're kind of marked on the map when you use it, so you want to be careful when to do it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
some
kind
cool
of something
tactical
we've been
use
missing with
cases,
like hunt
like
consumables
roundables
and
from
traits and
Hunt.
whatnot.
And in general, like, we're going to keep some of those technical things out of the scope of this meeting here, because like we could potentially talk about this for hours. But we want you guys to discover this as well. So we're going to hint at some of the tactical uses for these cards, but in general, we want you to discover that and have the community kind of find out what's the best way of combining and using these cards in what situations.
So let's talk about a card that ties us back to Garden of the Witch a bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Also a rather straightforward card. This one fully heals you and also your teammates, and
Alright.
clears out any like status
wonder if
effects
this
like
is gonna
bleeding,
be-
burning, poison, etc.
Is this like a
So this is one of the
restoration, or
cards
is this
we've also
just
hinted at
fully
already
heals
with a little
up
teaser a
to
while back.
your max
Where
health?
people have been speculating quite heavily about what it actually does. What's the reason here? And the Burning Hunter obviously was the giveaway. Like, so you play the card, your friend also stops burning. So this is basically a super vitality shot that affects the entire team.
Okay, so it's not a
Very nice
recovery
thing,
shot,
but again,
which
also a
is
precious card. You
nice.
want to use it in the right moment.
Yeah, and since I mentioned one event, let's mention the other one. So let's talk about the Fool.
Yeah, the Fool. That's an interesting one because this is the one card that goes really into like traditional card game territory. Because what this one does is it actually clones the card that you used
Oh
last.
yes, we saw this one already. So yeah, mirrors your
so
last
does it
card,
work?
which is kind of cool.
There we go. So this one actually copies the last card, yes, and that means depending on what the last card is you played this round, you do now have more or less value of it. Like you can, of course, clone the world with it, right? Then
Yeah,
you could use the world next round, but probably use the
You
last
could
one
also
before, so
clone, like,
no
you know,
point.
the moon
Or
and
you
just get
save it for
4
something
seconds
with
of
more
dark
high value,
sight if you
like
have this,
maybe
which
one
is
another
kind of
garden or
neat
so.
that you could just
So it's up to
pop
you.
4
You
seconds
can
of
play
dark
with
sight
this,
instantly.
On use, this card transforms into whatever the last card was you used.
That's
and
kind of
then,
neat.
It's down to
I
you
like
to
that.
decide what is the one you want to clone.
Sorry, I'm stretching.
Sounds great. And the next one is something that is very strong, but also comes with some drawbacks. So
Okay.
the Tower.
So the tower is pretty nice
So-
because this is like a PvE raid
Set
one, but
yourself
it can
on
have a very
fire.
strong effect on the
Kill.
PvP side, of course. So
Okay.
I'm going to tell you all the
65
situations
meter
again,
radius,
how to
that's a
use it, but
huge
it kills all of
radius.
the basic monsters, even like meatheads within 65 meter radius.
Even
so you can use
meatheads,
it
oh
also
my
quickly for farming,
God.
for example. But also
This would be probably
it
nice
sets
for the
you on
Bile
fire,
Weaver nest, actually.
because all of the AI also burn down, right? Like there's a fire effect; they all kind of like die from.
Imagine
from
just
fire
rolling
death.
up to the
But
Bile
you
Weaver
are
nest
affected
and
yourself.
just
not your teammates, just you as
gone,
the,
and then you can
as
just
the bearer of
walk
the
in
card.
like all normal, all willy
It's usually
nilly.
not a big problem. You just put yourself out, but you might have a bit of charcoal on your health now for a moment.
That's
and
nice.
therefore
I like that.
you
There's
might
some. I can
wanna,
see some
be
uses for
careful, Maybe
this.
pushing that box or whatever.
All right, and for the tricksters, here comes a very tricky one, the Magician.
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting for all those solo players out there, but it does have some benefits being part of a team as well. The Magician is basically placing a dark side decoy at your current location. So what that means is that whoever has dark side boost will see that location as if there was another player. Now you can use it for all sorts of
That's
shenanigans about,
interesting.
like, masquerading where you really are. In this case, like someone places it at the extract, so someone is very carefully approaching.
So you
and
do
maybe
you
that
not
gives
show
the
up in
chance to
dark
catch
sight
up
for a
with
little
them
bit
or have to
then?
drop on them, etc. Physically, this is also something that you can see in the world, so people can kind of spot the masquerade and the trickery here. But you need to get close, maybe sometimes to reveal this one. What it does is it starts bleeding on you, so you don't want to use that like maybe mid-combat, etc. It has a bit of a drawback to it.
It looks like it might mask you from dark sight. Although they could have just not been looking at this person.
So you can also place this in the beginning of a round at and extract, and then do all sorts of things if you expect that's the one people will go to on the way out.
That's really cool.
Sounds really
I just
cool,
hope that it
and I
doesn't
feel like it
shield
should open
you
up a
from
lot of
dark sight. I feel like that
opportunities,
might be a little bit
let's
strong.
look at the devil next.
Yes, the devil card is very interesting because that one is a combat related one. So if you guys remember Crack Shot from the Murder Circus event, this goes into similar territory. Which means that we have sway and spread of weapons being reduced. Obviously, it's just like shotguns and things which don't really have the spread being affected by it. But it comes at a price. So like your weapons become a little bit more precise.
No, are we gonna see the return of the fucking Crack Shot Nitro Cheese Cannon?
But again, you know from Crack Shot maybe the power level you can expect.
It does destroy a health chunk.
However, if you have it, whenever you get downed, you will actually lose not 1 but 2 health chunks. So it has double the.
It's not Crack Shot for a match. It's Crack Shot until you go down.
Mindful, like
make that distinction
killing,
clear.
The devil
but
claims it's due, and you
I hope they've tweaked certain
might be worse
weapons
off than otherwise. So yeah, it's a risk reward.
Yeah, I mean, if you make a deal with the devil, it always comes with a downside. But let's talk about something positive. The sun.
Oh, the sun. The sun is always positive, unless you get burned
this
by it.
artwork looks very positive.
The sun is pretty interesting because it grants you an increased regeneration buff, but only for 60 seconds.
Okay,
so
that's not a
think
huge
of this
amount
like
of time.
like a regeneration shot and steroids, but very, very short-lived. You want to kick that in right the
How
moment
much?
you open the door.
How
to
much
the
does
boss
it
there and
heal
charge in,
you?
because any sorts of delay, like maybe your teammate getting down to your border, like basically the card has been most likely wasted. The power level of this one is similar to what if you remember Mariner from previous events, like having a very fast immediate healing. So this is very, very powerful, but again, very limited, and you want to make sure you capitalize on
so I guess
advantage
you
right
want to
away,
like
otherwise,
pop this and then
it
push.
burns out without giving you anything.
That sounds
I
really
like
cool
that.
and very powerful, I think. But let's talk about the very risky one, in my opinion, Judgment.
Yeah, Judgment. It's risky, but it's also pretty cool. So what Judgment does is it doubles all of your current buffs, current status effects. So what it means is that if you're running a vitality a regeneration shot, if you're running a stamina shot, whatever the current timer is, by the time you play the card, this timer will be doubled.
Okay.
So this is really,
This could
really
be
powerful
a big
because
one
you
to
can
just pop at the start of a
extend
match,
some of those
though.
shots if you use them in a clever way. However, it also at the same time zaps your health to 1 HP. So that might be quite forgiving if you have a regeneration shot, right? Just takes a moment to pick it up, but like you don't want to do that maybe necessarily mid-combat. And I had situations where I thought this, I found this next to some bile weavers, and then let's just kick it in right away. And then a friend of mine, like doing playtesting, was just triggering the exec right next to us, and all of a sudden you have these bile weavers
becomes one. That'd be really
be
funny if that
careful
was the
when you
case.
use it. The monsters are absolutely not taking any chances here, and just try to murder you at any chance you get.
That's not super risky. That's going to be really strong. Though. Just find a safe spot.
It's more of a
like
tactical
just go
choice
chill
card,
inside
like
of a
you want to play this at
building
the right
and like
moment,
pop all of your shots, and then
like for example, you use a 4-shot boon with a pledge mark somewhere in the tower. Then you kick it in right after.
it's going to be like a 6 just from like a big shot of like stamina, regen, whatever.
Very interesting to see how people will.
It's going to be a
use it. And of course,
16-minute shot
they
then.
as well. You can
if
do
it
multiple
doubles it, if
judgments.
you
They
use it
always
right
double it.
away.
It's very expensive. and you
That's
probably
cool.
don't even have that
I
many
like that.
judgments usually ready to go because again, tarot cards are rather precious. But you do have quite some opportunities there to kind of mess around with stuff. So it's very interesting. Yeah, go figure the details out yourselves.
Use it immediately,
and,
pop the
so
fool.
this is
Oh my
already very
god,
interesting,
yeah, that's
but I think one of
actually.
the most interesting one for me.
You could
is
have
the
just
Hanged Man.
permanent.
Oh yeah, the Hanged Man is amazing.
with
so
that,
this
that's
is
crazy
my
to
opinion,
think
a big,
about.
real game changer. So what this one does, it allows you to spectate the nearest enemy hunter for a very limited time. I think it's like 15
Let's see how this
seconds or
one
so.
looks.
So as you can see, like you now see in dark
So we
sight
get
through the
15
eyes of
seconds.
that
15
hunter.
seconds is a lot,
Now
though.
you have to be quick. Like, okay, where could they be? What they're looking at? What direction they're facing? Are there any teammates? Maybe left, right. So trying to get as much information as possible because those 15 seconds are over in no time.
This will be very
but it gives
nice
you the chance to
for
kind of understand where
when
someone
you
is. Now,
are like
the catch
you're not
is
sure if you're the last
moment
person on the
those 50
server.
seconds are over, this is when the guys who have been spectated are now getting a little warning. So if you hear that in this little chiming sound, you understand, oh, damn it, we just got like spectated, and maybe this is where you want to make it like a hard 90-degree turn left or so. Maybe approach the combat from a different, change your tactics around because like another team might know where you are, where you're going, etc. So you don't want to be predictable.
Yeah, I mean, it is so fun to play around with.
That'll be an
but
interesting
the next
one. We'll have to
is
see how that
very,
goes.
very cool one and very big in
It is going to be very nice for
anti-camping.
anti-camping.
So yeah, like this card has like the name of the boss, right? Like that's the name of the event. So
her
the
whole
Emperor's
spider
card
CO.
is just positive things, and it's really cool. And I think you can predict some of the really nice advantage synergetic effects.
Okay.
From
So
that
is
one.
Catalyst
Whenever
coming
you play the
back
Emperor's
then?
card, you get Catalyst. This is your way to getting Catalyst this event as well, right? Next to I think you can also get it randomly from the Destiny dial. But here guaranteed, whenever you play that card, you have it. So if you, for example, have drawn that from your Dark Tribute or you extracted it from last round, you want to start a new Hunter, you can put the Empress right on the Hunter's initial loadout. You know exactly that you will have Catalyst right from the get-go. So maybe you're going to pick a couple of traits that will have the Catalyst conditional effects, like Beast Face, for example, where like then the dogs, birds, etc. no longer react to you at all. So you can kind of plan a little bit ahead with that one. In addition to
I
that,
guess
it gives you one
Catalyst is
instance
coming
of
back
Necromancer
then.
guaranteed, and one other random burn or scars trait. It could be Berserker, it could be Shadow, it could be any of
Could be
those.
Death Cheat.
That's going to be the random part. But
Which is
now the
kinda
interesting
cool.
piece is obviously what this could mean for a solo who might have that card in the pockets.
Yes,
and
granting
gets down
Necromancer
one.
back is
Again,
going to be
leaving that
really,
up to
really
you
nice to just have
to
two
come up with interesting
Necros.
tactics. No guarantee that you can have like 4 or 5 revives that way, but at least it
You
kind
could,
of changes the chances a little bit
potentially.
if you manage to slip away after standing up.
Yeah, I
I
might be
think
able to
that
fool
is-
some
that
people.
is,
Imagine
like,
this
one
with
of
like the Dark
most
Side DeFi
impressive
one.
ones,
So
the
those are going to
Emperors. I
be
really
kind
like
of
that
a
one, but it's
menace
also
with
one of the
tarot
rarest we
cards.
have. So they definitely won't find that around every corner.
I mean, it definitely is very cool. And last but not least, we have one that we already teased, and I saw a lot of players guessing what it could be, the Chariot.
The Chariot, yeah. So the Chariot is interesting because it also introduces a new game mechanic alongside. So let me quickly just take a step back and actually explain the whole thing. Now, in general, what this card does, it swaps locked and unlocked extraction points
Locked and
for all
unlocked
players,
extraction
all
points?
teams
What?
in Bounty Hunt. So this card does not work in Bounty Clash, for example.
What do you mean
and
locked
obviously
and
you can't get
unlocked
it
extraction
in
points?
Soul Survivors. But for Bounty Hunt, it allows you to make sure that maybe an available
mean,
or
like,
an
if it's
accessible
blocked?
exit becomes inaccessible and the other way around. Now you wonder, but Dennis, what are inaccessible exits? So this is where the new mechanic ties in, and we now
boy.
have a total of 4 extraction points across the map, the 3 that you have on the outside, and we have a 4th one, which is the central extraction. And half
okay.
of those, the central one and one of the others randomly, will be locked by default. So there is a little lock icon next to them, so you will not be able to use these to extract from the mission. However, by playing the Chariot card, you now have a chance to flip this around, and that means an extract that you might have had a chance to get out to. You're just moving there. Another team just placed the card right now, and in this case, you all of a sudden are locked out. Now you need to find another. Another
that's
version to get
actually
out,
really
another exit to
cool.
get out, because it kind of changes the tactics. So this is going to be very interesting now. But there's a couple of counter mechanics around it. So it sounds a bit
You
harsh
can
in
play
the
your
beginning
own
that it
chariots.
might be in the end. The point is that you can only
Yeah, it's
play
really nice for bounty.
one of those cards
chasing like
every
people
5
who just
minutes.
sprint.
So
Who just
if
dip
you
after getting
have
bounty.
played a card, you know that no one else can kind of like Uno reverse the whole thing and nope these cards like into oblivion. They have to wait and see this through. So for example, a tactic could also be that if you have a locked extract next to your bounty layer, you're sitting inside with a bounty, you can actually play the card, and now you know that your exit is free to go for the next 5 minutes, and no one can do something unless
Yeah,
obviously they
that's
fight
cool.
you.
I like that.
So in general, it gives you more options. It opens up lots more tactical possibilities. So something we're really interested to see how you guys feel about that one. In playtesting, it's been immensely fun, but also something you have to account for.
I'm curious to
Maybe
see
as a
what the
last
central
point,
extraction is
the
going to
5-minute
be.
cooldown is also coming into effect during the last 5 minutes of the match. So you can't play one in the last seconds or so, and then a team might be stranded, no chance to reach another exit. So there's going to be some safety nets in this.
Yeah,
that
hot
will
air
make
balloon.
it's
Hot
not
air balloon
super
would be really,
frustrating,
really
by
cool.
people trying to exploit it. But yeah, go play with it.
Yeah,
have
can we
fun with
talk
it.
more about the
Yeah,
central
so that's a
extraction?
lot of
That
new
sounds
things to play
interesting.
around, and I think it's very exciting. And thank you for driving us through all these. But now let's take a look at the very first look at our brand new gameplay trailer. And after that, we will be back with
Okay,
the Q&A
gameplay
section.
trailer.
Everything
Let's
coming
see.
together now.
I love the spider webs. Ooh, Centennial Pointman skin. Did I see that right? Okay. Pointman fans are eating good. So pretty. Look at this. Especially in the rain. First look at the... Oh, that's a cool looking rival. Oh, Mosin sniper skin. Okay. Absamat skin. Ooh, I like the sights on that rival. Can we see the Centennial real quick? The Wildlands? No? Okay, just the rival. Alright, I like that.
That gameplay trailer was truly amazing, and we have to highlight from very soon, about in 30 minutes, you can catch some of your favorite streamers playing on Twitch, already trying it out. So make sure to tune into the Patreon directory and check them out.
So we have
getting, is there like
tests
what?
that we gave access to some of our VIPs.
Oh, they changed the mics again.
They can kind of play
Okay,
this,
but what,
have a look at it.
wait, people are going to be playing the event?
30 minutes roughly, right?
Yeah, like after the stream.
After the stream, 30 minutes or so, maybe. You will have a lot of them popping that one up and giving it a
Is
first
this
go.
like a
So
test
definitely join in
server
there,
or
see how
what?
it all comes together in practice.
Yeah, but let's look at the questions we got. So first of all, how long is Web of the End?
Okay.
We talked about it in the beginning. And
Hi for a partnership. Quick, I got half an hour. Oh god, hurry.
10th of December.
10th of December, yeah, correct. So quite a long distance.
Streamer privilege. Streamers have kind of always had privilege in this game, let's be honest, in terms of like getting news and content early.
Can you find the bile weavers outside of their nest?
Yes, so you basically have the bile weaver nest as a central location. Like this is where you find a lot of them. However, you can also find some locations, like maybe you go to a tower and the tower is all webbed up, or maybe some in-between spaces that are a little bit webbed up now. And if you see the little XX where they can spawn from populated around there, then you know, okay, well, I have to be careful. But there's also something positive there, because you might find
you can find tarot cards and other stuff.
So whenever you see spider webs, there's a chance you might see tarot cards as well.
We love webs this event.
Yeah, it might. It probably is just like a closed server.
We already covered it, but which scarce weapons do we get in this in the bile weaver nest?
Silent Secondary is going to be really popular now. Yeah, like a Silent Bornheim might be amazing for clearing bile weavers.
Rival 78 long-barreled version that is like a
a little sad we didn't get to see the Wildland, the
so you can only
Centennial.
find it in the world, like Weapon to Discover, and we have the Wildland, which is a version of the Centennial, a little bit more ammunition in a magazine, also has a Swift mechanic, so quite nice boosted versions of the ones we have, but you just can't unlock them
probably good for bile
normally
weavers
progression
too.
and play them. You have to find them in the world. And
Especially now with like Blade Seer just being like built in.
The 17.
Yeah, it's basically the 17th compound is the hotspot, right? This is where you want to go. This is all where the cool rewards are. This is where you can find tarot cards. This is where you will engage and encounter the bile weavers, which obviously also give you some event points if you destroy them. So there's maybe some nice effect as well. It's not all just like doom and gloom. And you have lots of sealed rewards and other cool activities. You have the Destiny dial in there, which is like our new version of the fortune teller machine. So lots of cool
gambling's
things to
back on the menu.
Like, it's going to be also a pretty awesome place to fight around, and you might adversity.
Yeah, it looks
like,
interesting.
It
looks like it's multiple layers.
And actually, no, it's not. Like it might look like that initially, but the way you approach and
I hope
the
there's
way
just
these
multiple
are set
ways
up, like you have some really good
in.
sidelines even from outside through the longer tunnels there, and it definitely is interesting for all sorts of weapons. It definitely had success.
Because I feel like it has
failure
potential to be very
with the
choke
entire
pointy and
arsenal
campy.
Yeah,
that being said,
mentioned
respawning
tarot
bile
in
weavers might
this
change that.
answer. Someone asked how many tarot cards, and also like how do they exactly work? Like, do you bring them into the mission? We already mentioned it, but just to clarify.
I can quickly recap. So we have a pool of like a set of 12 tarot cards, each with their own respective gameplay effects and powers. They're treated as consumables, so you have to make a choice if you want to bring them, or for example, bring a dynamite stick or a shot, etc.
I like that they're single-use consumables. I like that you can't find them
as a burn card
in like just you have to find them in the world, because some of them I feel like if you could just buy them outright, like the spectating one
have the benefit of it.
would be pretty annoying to play against constantly. If everyone had like even several of them, that'd be tough.
You know that sometimes in the game it's hard to get some of the information about what's going on if you find stuff, etc. Like for the tarot cards, if you press the weapon inspect button, I by default, and you inspect the card in your hand, we also pop in on the top right a little tooltip that gives you the description of that particular
it'll be interesting
card.
to see how often you can find it. They said there was 3 guaranteed at the bile weaver nest.
Learn them, you can use the inspect
so if you're a trio, you can get
what did this thing actually do? Because
one per person.
Memorizing 12 new features.
They're first come first serve, so
right? Like
I can't imagine there'll be like
a
crazy amount of them in circulation, but
what each of these
maybe one of those things you encounter like I don't know,
Okay,
encounter
we have
one like
a
every other
question about
match,
how do
something like
pledge marks
that.
work and how do wagers work. Maybe some people that weren't
Yeah.
in previous events.
That's a fair point. So this is a mechanic that we've been using for a lot of events now through the years or over the years. The main point is that activities in the world give you event points. For example, coins. For example, killing certain special AI or like banishing the boss, doing objective play.
I wouldn't imagine that changed very much, but
now by getting above a threshold of 25 of these event
full
points,
to work, you have to
every
seek
25
around 2 per match. I
event
mean, you can
points,
store
also
them in
get
your
a pledge
inventory,
mark.
so like
And the pledge mark is
know.
a currency that you can use.
That
and
would be
spend in the
unfortunate finding
mission
like
for
5
unlocking
fools in a
sealed
row,
rewards.
but yeah.
So this could be like a sealed cash register, which is a cash register that you need, like I think, 1 or 2 pledge marks for. And if you interact with it, it gives you guaranteed a high amount of $100 than maybe the one randomly gives you normally. In a similar way, you might get sealed traits or other sealed items that you can only
Wonder if
get
you can carry
access
them
on
between
if you
matches. I'm
pay
pretty sure you
the
can,
due.
because you can get them from Dark Tribute. So like
in this case,
pretty
make
sure
sure
you
you
can-
get event points.
can bring
because
them in
event
and
points
out.
gives you pledge marks. They live on the hunter, but they can also be taken away from you. So if you go down and someone loots you, they might steal your pledge marks. But
Yep.
obviously, there's also a good
As per
motivation for you to
usual.
go and hunt other players, because maybe you're too lazy to build up your event points on your own and you just want them to give them to you, and you can use guns as a convincing measure. So.
Yeah, and I know we already talked about this as well, but it ties into this very well. So what is Destiny's Dial and what is the wager system exactly?
Yeah, so the Destiny Dial is a fortune teller machine. Basically, it gives you random rewards. So you spend a pledge mark if you have any, and then the Destiny Dial dials, and at the end of it, it
Dials
gives you
your
a random
destiny.
reward. And that can be, for example, a buff. You might get like some time of regeneration, or you get like antidote.
So it
or
seems like it's
might give you a random
exactly
trait,
like-
or it might give you some money. Like
Yeah,
different
it's exactly the
activities,
fortune teller machine.
and different rewards. And so it's about like a bit of mini gambling in a way, like kind of like
Yeah, they
spend more
said
marks,
it.
I have all the cool
Woo!
traits.
It's literally just
Let's
gambling.
just throw them in there and see what happens. Sometimes you get some really cool things from there.
Hit up the slot
something people really
machine.
appreciated when we had it as part of the Murder Circus event with the fortune teller machine. This is the new take. It's a bit more universal. Not
My
themed,
kids are gonna
to,
be
like, the
using
circus, for example.
nitros all day,
And,
baby.
expect that to
I'm
show
putting
up
it all
in
on
various locations in the
Destiny.
future.
Yeah, thank you for the awesome recap of the whole thing. So a question that pops up a lot is about introducing ping limits and region lock. Like, what are our plans?
Yeah, so something which is very important for us as a topic. We don't have any news to share at the moment, but this is an ongoing conversation, and we do
Yeah,
have some
ping issues.
plans for the
People
future.
are
on that.
always gonna
Nothing
be
that is yet
pissy
ready
about
for us to
that,
talk
but-
and announce next steps on this. But rest assured, this is nothing which we put on the sidelines. It's very important.
Yeah, they do seem
So
pretty
someone
happy and
can
excited
do
about
queue
these.
up
I mean, the
with random
tarot cards
thirds,
are
because
super
in
interesting.
2 days, because it's coming with the update.
So the ability
2
to queue with a
days.
random third player. So if you're a duo of invited players, you can now ask to matchmake with a
Yeah,
random
largely
player,
they seem
a
like
random
pretty
third
good
player, like a
changes. The
solo
only
is
ones
also
I'm a
looking
little
for team of
disappointed
3.
by, and
And
I'll go into
that
more
gives you
depth about
options
it
to
once
play
they're
with
done with the
people,
Q&A
making
stuff
friends
here.
maybe.
The
So
only thing
it's a
I'm
great thing, and
really
we're
a
happy
little
it finally
disappointed
arrived.
about is like
Yeah, we got some questions.
the only new
about
weapons are
returning
scarce,
older
and we got
hunter
like
skins,
basically no weapon
and if you're
balancing
planning to do
changes.
that, and yes, we actually did some in the previous update, and this is something we plan to do in future. I think.
Yeah, we did a first test recently where we revealed some of the former questline hunters and pieces. In the past, some of those were obviously asked and requested, but we can't bring them back in exactly the same way because they're mythic in terms of their rarity level, and that means
Yeah,
they're
okay.
exclusive for an event. However, we can bring variations of those, and it's something we definitely want to explore. I
Okay,
think
so
it was a
I'm
very,
assuming
very good
we would
success,
probably see
seeing
more
all your
stuff coming
responses and
back.
how you interacted with this new, and I appreciated
More
that.
like
So we
previously
definitely wanna try
exclusive
more of
stuff
that in the
like they
future.
did with
what
the
exactly, and which hunters, and so
the
that's,
skinned
for the
and
future to tell.
and the scaled ward
So
coming
of course
back.
tarot cards are very important in this update. So we talked about, you mentioned some rarities. So is there a difference between how rare they are or how you find them, or how does that exactly work?
Yes, but it is a bit under the hood. So it's something that we expect you guys to just like get a sense and feeling for as you
Okay.
play. We have
So
some
some
of
will
those
be
cards
rarer
who
than
weight
others.
differently than others. So some of them, like the Empress card, are very rare, and you will not have them that frequently. Some
Okay,
of the other, usually those
that's
with
I
like,
like
a
that.
lesser
The
of
ones
an
that they
intrusive
think are
gameplay
probably
effect,
going to be a bit more
like the Moon,
annoying.
for example, or the Worlds, like they might be a bit more frequent.
Okay.
But in general, you have a good chance getting across all of those. And
Okay, sure.
we ensure that there's a nice spread there. But yes, some cards are a bit more precious and a bit more rare than others. But you won't be able to tell except for playing a lot and getting a feeling for it.
Okay.
Definitely. So there's a question that's also pretty frequently asked, is about crossplay. Will we add it? When we will add it? Is it something
Crossplay.
Nothing we can talk about at the moment.
Yeah, of
so
course.
in general,
I don't know why they picked out
out
these
I
questions,
think
like-
that's a great step forward when it comes to matchmaking.
They're obviously
Everything
not
else
going
we
to say
have to see,
anything.
what the future holds for that.
All right, let me see if I can find more. Yeah, some people asked like,
Hi, Gabby.
what are the lobby
This
improvements
QA
you made
feels like
this
it's
update?
just
Yeah,
Reddit
so
chuddies
the
are
lobby
going to get mad if we don't
improvements,
answer
it's
the same
primarily a
questions that we
consolidation. So
already
we now have
gave the
unified lobby.
answers to.
So all
If we
game modes
don't
are in
tell
one lobby. You
Reddit
no
that
longer
we're
need to
not
invite
bringing
someone just
fucking
because you want to
crossplay
maybe go
back,
together
or
on a shooting
we're not
range
implementing crossplay, then they're going to riot.
play Bounty Clash versus Bounty Hunt, etc. You can now select all of the modes in there. Obviously, you can only select Soul Survivor if you're the only one in the lobby because it's a solo mode. But all of these, I think, yeah, understandable restrictions apply there. What it means is that we now have the lobby as a central place to go to.
Yeah.
We
These
don't have a
UI
home
changes are
button or like a
amazing,
home
by the
menu
way.
anymore, where we then select modes, etc.
So
Instead,
that's
what
if
we
the
have is
game
play
is
button.
Woaw.
This is the lobby, and we have a separate career button. This is where we moved all of the progression pieces that were under the home screen originally, and they just give you a chance to kind of like
We have
navigate
changed
much
it.
nicer.
Sheriff Hard
Improved
now
navigation
goes
has
by
been, like,
he,
the main thing
they.
here for us, and everything you need for configuration you have from that lobby screen.
I've
Yeah,
seen
the lobby
some
screen's
questions
really good.
asking
I like
about
the
if
lobby
they
screen.
have arachnophobia mode in the game.
We don't, but then again, we also are a bit of a horror game. It's an important topic.
So no arachnophobia
I'm
mode.
Not a big fan of
I
spiders
think we
myself.
kind of
I can be
expected
honest about
that, to be honest. But
I think this is something that
Sheriff now
in
sure
the future maybe we
heard
can
it.
talk about further. But right now,
that'd be
you
funny.
don't have to go into the nest. It's strongly advised.
You
that
don't have
do.
to go
There's
into
good
this.
stuff in there,
If you
but,
hate spiders,
you can
simply
take your
just
own
don't
steps in
interact with the
same way
new
you can take your own
content.
steps whether you want to fight the spider boss.
That's
for
really
example.
funny.
So no specific arachnophobia filter or content filter in that regard.
Yeah, someone was like a bit confused about the changes to the in-world items. So we had some changes, like the silent changes and the power keg as well. Could you just recap that?
Right, I mean, you're mixing a lot of things together.
Yeah.
So let's maybe take it apart step by step. So on one hand, we have some of the inventory and loot changes. So for example, we've opened up some of the things like the toolbox to also give you some of the like consumables that you didn't get in there before. We've already watered it down a little bit with like the
So does that mean like
saddlebags
maybe flash bombs?
stuff like that. So
I
it's
know.
basically just like catching up with some of the other mechanics. Then we also did some quality of life changes, some of the traits. So for example, we have the Blade Seer ability that allows you to see.
I'm gonna
where
be
your
honest.
projectiles
The
are within
Blade Seer
25 meter
changes, I
radius.
think, is gonna
Now,
make
by
Blade
default,
Seer
just
like
go to the backside, you
even
don't need
more
the
of a
trait
dud
anymore.
trait.
You can see where
If
your
you
arrows are
already
sticking,
have
where
Blade
your
Seer
knife
built
went,
in,
etc.,
like
and
why
it
are
makes it
we
very useful to
bringing
kinda
it
like collect
back?
the stuff on the front. So very big quality of life change. But if you equip Blade Seer, which still exists as a trait, you just increase the range to 75 meters. So maybe it's a bit more interesting to maybe find your arrows, which you maybe fight a little bit further, or that spear that you threw across the roof trying to hit the hive and then it went past last second and now it's somewhere in the swamp. So at least you can find them a bit easier. And then I think we also had a third piece there. What was it?
The power kegs.
Oh yeah, the powder kegs. Yeah, exactly. So we also have a new world item, which is the powder keg, which is a sandbox item you can just discover, similar to like lanterns, and that is basically a mini explosive barrel. You can pick
Catalyst
it
is
up,
the
you
game
can
make
place it, you can
Blade
let
Seer
it
turn into Blade
drop it,
Mancer.
and,
Yeah, they
if you're
mentioned
unlucky
that
and you drop it,
Catalyst was
fire
like
goes
coming
up.
back. Like,
Because
is it just
these
going to be a
things now
permanent
react to
edition? They
gunshots,
didn't
etc. So if
say
you just see
anything
some,
about it.
like sitting around, and the same is true for
They did?
lanterns.
What?
And you do fire damage to it, like the lantern or the keg. The keg blows up directly.
it's just
The
scare strays?
lanterns
What?
will just detonate. And
When
then
did
on
they
the
say
kegs, if
that?
you hit it with anything else, like a normal red barrel, like they start burning for a second and then they blow up with a delay. So all the rules that you have from a red
Sorry,
barrel,
what?
however, with a smaller yield, they're not as destructive. Only if you're really close by,
Okay,
so
so
you
they
can still
didn't say
combine them
exactly
with an
what
alert
to
trip
get
mine,
it,
for
or if it's
example,
just
and you
gonna
get like a
be
pretty
anything
cool
yet?
trap to kill people. But they don't have the same range as, for example, a normal red barrel would have.
Okay.
And with that, I think we covered most of the questions, unless there's
He
something
said it
you
could be at the
still want
hideout in the
to-
center.
I
Okay.
think
I
we
don't
covered
remember
all
that,
of the
but
big
sure.
ones, so I think we're good.
All right, Dennis,
Yeah.
thank you so much. That was so much fun.
My
to
pleasure,
provide
yeah.
this update.
Okay,
As we
this
said,
was
in about
interesting. Gabby
20
is standing
minutes or
really
less,
menacingly
actually,
behind
15
me.
minutes.
Like she has something she wants to say.
Hang out on our Twitch directory
Okay, you're-
and check out some of those closed
Making me
test,
nervous because you look like you're gonna
players
come over
for
and
the
drop
next
me at
4
any
hours
moment.
until midnight today. So that's gonna be
Are
some
you
fun,
taking
and
my
you
crutch?
can
Okay.
experience the first view
Oh, you're
of the
taking
game.
my crutches.
Actually, by
Small
Sabrina.
little closed test for some of our nice streamers we have in the community that really enjoy the game a lot. So we gave them the first access to kind of like try this out. Unfortunately, none of you guys can yet join in, but so make sure to watch them. Make sure you take a look at what's all meaning in practice.
Yeah, well,
and,
we'll take a look at that. I
let's
won't be
all,
streaming
freak
that,
out
but like,
collectively from running into the.
if you want to see more
And
stuff,
just to mention
then I
again,
guess
the event is
it's
coming
there.
in
You
just
can
today,
go watch.
so
I
you
don't
don't
have
to
access
wait
to
too
this,
much
so
anymore, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. We also gonna be having some gameplay streams as always,
Yeah,
so we will
okay.
also show you the game and play around with it. But for now, I think we are done for today. Thank you,
Okay.
Dennis.
My pleasure.
Thank
I'm
you everyone
gonna give
working on the
my
stream as
thoughts
well.
here.
You guys really help out.
Now that I'm not interrupting them, I can speak for
see you
extended
guys
period
in
of
the
time.
bio. Make sure to follow us on all social media.
Okay,
Follow
I'm
us on
just gonna
YouTube.
pause it here. Overall, I think this is gonna be a good update. I'm really kind of disappointed that they didn't do any more weapon balancing changes. I think I think that there is a very established meta right now, being long ammo rifle with short shotgun secondary through with Crown and King, like with the auto 4. I'm surprised they didn't touch it at all. To be completely honest with you, like when they said, "Oh yeah, we got new weapon balancing coming," and it's what was it? A reload nerf for the Cyclone and a quality of life change, like a recoil reduction for the Mako. Like, Crytek, I love you, but that doesn't do anything. Those are more just quality of life things. Like, why is the Auto 4 still $300? I don't know. Like there are some changes that need to be made, I feel, and I think I'm gonna make a video about this because I do think Quartermaster is just incredibly dominant right now in the meta, especially with the addition of the Auto 4. But just in general, like short shotguns are crazy strong, and they kind of invalidate like a lot of other close range backup weapons, you know, or like Quartermaster even invalidates like pistols to a degree because like the Obrez is so strong. If you're running a shotgun loadout, you can just, bring an Obrez, and Obrez has like no sway. It hits super hard. Like, I don't know. It kind of invalidates things like melee, even though melee's getting a buff, which is really nice. Melee doesn't really mean shit when everyone has an auto 4 in their back pocket. At least up in 6 stars, that's how a lot of it is. Like Quartermaster's just rampant, and I really hope they do something about it. And I think that short shotguns also need a little bit of tuning, a slight nerf, depending on which one we're talking about. The Auto 4 especially, there's no reason that thing should be $300 for how strong that it is. So, other than that, though, things seem good. I like the idea of the tarot card system. We'll have to obviously play with them to see how they play, but overall, it doesn't seem like it'll be anything too intrusive, especially with the ones that are going to be intrusive, like the ones that grant you like your necro back. Like that was something I was a little nervous about, like where Solo's gonna have like, I don't know. I like the way that Solos play right now, where it's like if you see them pick up with necro, like you can kill them and you're just like guaranteed you don't have to babysit them anymore. I like that the ones that are going to be maybe a bit more intrusive, a bit more annoying to play against, are going to be rarer, and obviously you can't just buy them, which is really nice. I think it'll make for some interesting interactions. Like here's some cool things. I like the extraction like changing one. That's super cool. I'm surprised I didn't talk more about the central extraction, but getting another extraction in the center of the map's gonna like fundamentally change how the game plays, which is super cool. But yeah, like the cosmetics look great. The Bile Weaver and the Bile Weaver nest looks really cool too. I like that the Bile Weavers with them respawning are just kind of inherently like an anti-camping mechanic. Not that I've really had too many issues with people camping, but it is cool to know that like if you're playing around the nest, like that is not a safe place to hold like you could with the hideout or with the murder circus. That's cool. I like that. And honestly, like maybe that could be something that they use some sort of like respawning AI to like disincentivize camping in the future. I don't know. I don't know how they would do that. But it could be something kind of interesting. So I think overall this is a pretty cool update. Again, I just wish well, obviously we're getting 2 new weapons. We're getting the Wildland and we're getting the Homestead, which I think will be cool. I'm excited to try the Homestead with slugs, because I think a long barrel rival with slugs is gonna play super fun. Rival with slugs is already just a very fun weapon, but we'll see how the Centennial is, how the Wildland is. Increased damage on the Centennial might be pretty strong, especially if you're able to find bleed ammo for it. That could be pretty oppressive. That could be pretty annoying. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, it requires a lot of luck. It's not like something you can just equip, but um, I don't know. I do kind of feel like these weapons. I feel like I like the idea of bringing scarce weapons in, but to have only scarce weapons, it just feels weird. It just feels kind of strange to not be able to to not have anything new that we like. All the new gear that we're getting is scarce, which is good. We're still getting new gear, but it would have been nice to have at least like one new thing that we could have like just auto equipped, like something we can just buy that we don't have to find in the world. Um, or at the very least, like I said, just give us like I don't know, give us some more like meaningful balance changes. Like I don't know, the fucking the reload nerf on the Cyclone's nice because the Cyclone is a bit of a monster right now. Making it more like you have to be accurate is nice. The Mako will give it a try and see how it plays, I guess. See if it's better. But like I still think the Mako's I don't think it's gonna really do much for the Mako. I think the Mako is still the weakest of the long ammo rifles. At least in terms of those like more expensive repeating long ammo rifles. I think it really doesn't have much to offer. Unless you like levering, but levering's super inconsistent and the Berthier is cheaper and has infinitely more ammo and utility and variants and I don't know. So we'll see how that plays. We'll give the Mako a try again, but I don't know. Don't want to say they're running out of ideas since the cards are really creative and cool, but almost feels like they're struggling with weapons. Yeah, I think that there are some weapons they could add though. Like I made an entire video about things that I would like to see them bring back. I think that the Shredder is a weapon that if they were to fundamentally change it and rework it so that it's not the overpowered monster that it was, a ricocheting saw blade launcher that's been again toned down to be like more in line with other weapons could be something pretty cool. Um, it could be pretty neat. Or again, even something just as simple as like I would love, I will continue to preach this to the day I die. A PAX True Shot Deadeye, I feel like would be such a fun addition. That's something we don't really have. We have the Dolch Deadeye, but that's the only single slot scope weapon that we have. And I feel like a True Shot Deadeye would just be so cool. I would love that. And that's something kind of new that we don't really have. So there is room for new weapons. There is absolutely room for new weapons. I do think they have to be a bit more selective because the arsenal is starting to get a little bit bloated. Which is why I was kind of advocating for like if we don't get any new weapons, like why not just make some balancing changes to maybe buff up other things or nerf other things. Like just do something to shift up the meta. Because as cool as all of this is, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to change like what we see in terms of pick rate. Like we're still going to see people running like Mosin Uppercut, Krag Auto 4, Auto 5, Mosin Obrez. Like we're gonna see like the same few loadouts just recycled. Unfortunately, because at least up in 6 stars again, you have to remember I'm usually playing against 5 and 6 stars as a solo. So I don't know. It's just I wish they had done more, but everything else seems cool. The cosmetics are neat. The 17th compound's great. The UI changes are amazing. The tarot cards look interesting. Like everything else looks great. I just wish we had something with the weapons, something meaningful. So yeah, I don't know. Those weapons are literally supposed to be meta with their price tag and performance. I mean, I guess, but balancing by price tag, I feel like doesn't. I don't know. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be strong because they are supposed to be strong because they're the more expensive weapons in the game. But when they are just so dominant and like when price doesn't really mean anything for a lot of players, when you have enough money to run whatever you want, like I do think that balancing by price point kind of doesn't like it kind of loses some of its meaning, which is tough. Because like again, all the 6 stars have like a ton of money because they play a ton and they know how to win and how to make money. Maybe they're not prestiging stuff like that. Excuse me, but it also means that for the new like 3-star players who are getting in, if we are still balancing by like price point, like it does kind of mean that they can't just go and pick up a crown and king. So I don't know. Part of me does wonder like should money just not be in the game, to be completely honest with you. Um, I think that would kind of remove some of the fundamental like bases that Hunt has been built on. Because I don't know, it would ruin the whole concept of like running budget weapons, and then that would be like a probably a balancing nightmare for Crytek too. But I don't know, it's a very like it's a question that we've been asking for years now at this point. Like, it's always been an issue of like people who have a ton of money. Like, does this mean that maybe we should introduce like a wallet cap? Might be something that we could do. You know, maybe you can only have like 15,000 hunt dollars at a time, so that way you can't be running constantly. You know, Mosin, Crown and King, like all these expensive weapons. I don't know. I don't know. It's a interesting question. I feel like I'm kind of getting off topic here. The update looks good. I might make a video on this entirely separately. Um, but update looks good. Again, I wish there was just a little more in the way of weapons, like literally anything. We'll see how the scarce weapons play. But overall, I'm excited. This seems like a pretty neat one. I'm kind of surprised they didn't show off more of like the hunter skins. I guess they did, but like some of the other ones that we saw, maybe they're coming with like a Halloween thing like later, more seasonal update. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, it seems like a pretty good one. Lots of good changes. Like pretty much everything that I saw was good, and I'm excited for. Very excited for the Bile Weaver nest. But yeah, I feel like I'm kind of rambling here, so I don't know. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts, because I am genuinely curious. But this seems like it'll be a good event. Here's hoping. I'm excited for the community events too. I hope that they change those around a little bit, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on that, because I assume those aren't coming for a little bit. But yeah, cool. I don't know if anyone has any other like closing thoughts or anything, but I should probably go eat like breakfast or something. Haven't done that yet, and it's 11 o'clock, so yeah. I think I'm gonna probably head out again, unless I see someone put like a giant wall of text. But oh, here we go. Secondary resources you get from tokens, player kills, meatheads, bear trap, bear kills could help too. Make all the high end stuff require them. Yeah, maybe a secondary resource could be interesting. Some sort of like not premium currency, but like a rarer currency. That could be interesting. Yeah, it would still be weighted towards high tier players, and I feel like I don't know. I think that genuinely something we could try and do is just introduce a cap. Introducing a cap on certain things, I think would be good. I just think they're scared to nerf stuff like that, because there is a subsect of the community that like only plays those weapons. Like I know there was people who quit the game when they nerfed the uppercut, which is like textbook crybaby behavior, like genuinely skill issue. If you are quitting the game because a weapon got nerfed. But like I don't know. I feel like if they implemented something that reduced the amount of like that forced people to play something other than their beloved long ammo rifle, I feel like there would be people who would leave. And I don't know if they want that. So could see a cap resulting in more dolces, nitro, etc. from people who cap, for people at cap who need to spend their money. I guess, but it would mean like that you wouldn't see like I don't know if it would result in more of them, at least in higher MMRs, because like sure you need to spend your money to get more money, or you don't. You can just I don't know. Like I guess it would be hard because like part of the joy of hunt is extracting with token, and the only resource that you get from extracting your token is money. So they would have to have like maybe some other like incentive. I don't know. Um, I really don't know. It's hard to say, but I don't think it would result in more. Like I think it would result in more just like impulse buying of nitros and dolces and whatnot. Um, but I think it would also, I think it might also encourage people to, like maybe try something else. I don't know. It's a very complicated question. And again, I think they have to be very careful with it, because if they do like a pretty widespread nerf, Again, the 6-star Redditors get pissed that they can't run, you know, Mo's and Uppercut every single game, then yeah, I could see some people quitting over that. So it's hard to say. I think the meta right now is incredibly stale. Maybe the tarot cards and everything will shift that up a bit, but in terms of weapon selection, I don't expect much to change. Like if anything, the Cyclone getting nerfed is gonna mean that people are just gonna go back to like their Mosins. The Cyclone was even like a breath of fresh air. As annoying as it was to fight it sometimes, it did mean that people were at least picking something different. And I feel like now that the Cyclone's getting nerfed, there are gonna be a handful of people who are just like, fuck it. I don't want to deal with a longer reload. I'm just gonna go back to playing Crag. I'm gonna go back to playing Mosin or Labelle or any other long ammo rifle. So I don't know. It is hard to say, but anyways, I'm gonna go get some breakfast. So I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll see you all at some point this week. Probably not gonna be live until the actual event starts, but yeah, I'll see you all on Wednesday. Love you all, and see ya in the spider net. I don't know what I'm going for. Bye.